You're watching Suck Professor. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hank. I'm joined by James. We're doing Twin Peaks, episode 15. We're coming up on the final 400 episodes, James.
I wish there were 400 left.
Almost there. It's been a long journey, but it's been a fun one. And thanks for doing it with me, James.
Yeah, thank you for being a good sport and going into a show that you initially had very little to no interest in, but let it grow on you.
Yeah, I always had curiosity about Twin Peaks, but I never really looked into it or anything. But this has been a real education in David Lynch. And boy, what a kook. All right, I mean that lovingly too, by the way. So thanks for finding our channel, everybody. This is kind of like a long podcast discussion kind of thing. We're just going to go through the screenshots and share with our insights and our reactions and stuff. You ready, James?
Yeah, I should say one thing beforehand is, as Lynch might say, this episode is a real humdinger. So be careful in watching this and maintaining your levels of rage, because there's a lot of stuff that I don't have a concrete answer for, that I don't have a concrete guess for. I'm going to do my best. But for me, the best thing about this show is the not knowing part.
Okay.
And the fact that Lynch never gives definitive answers to what he's talking about keeps you guessing years and years and years into the future. We're still talking about seasons 1 and 2 from 25 years ago, and we still don't know definitively what happened back then.
Yes, if you're confused and angry, that's how you know it's working.
Yeah, so if you can help us along in understanding stuff better based on your interpretation, please do, because of all the times I need you more on this episode than ever.
Tired of the world making sense? Take a pill of David Lynch. It'll make you confused and you'll feel all fucked up for 25 years. All right, that's all good. Now I got to animate even more shit, so that's okay. I should quit talking when you get to the fucking screenshots. Here we go. David Lynch, Mark Frost, David, there he is. David Lynch, curtains, floor. Okay, opening shot, tree. I would call this do you think it was a drone, James? Are we using drones now? I love drone
no, David
filming.
Lynch can jump very high.
Yes, he's got long
He's like
rubber
a grasshopper.
legs. Yeah.
And a flea combined. Yes, it's a drone.
The two strongest jumping insects, aren't they? So anyway, we get to this country road here. We got what's the Sylvia? What's her name?
God, Nadine
She's
Hurley.
Walking along. By the way, if you're going to have a blindfold, you should probably, walk backwards. Keep your good eye on the road, on the road there. I noticed something interesting here real quick. So watch. This is a forward shot, right?
I was about to ask you if you noticed something interesting about this.
This car pulls up and is in this lane, which is the correct lane for that car. And then the way they're filming it, she's walking again. This is real quick. Like, this is the next cut. And then these cars are driving on the wrong side.
Exactly.
Heading right for a head-on collision with this red car.
I am so glad you mentioned that, because a lot of times people on Reddit were talking about this. They were saying Lynch does this a lot, that he'll invert and flip shots for artistic purposes. But someone said, well, no, he didn't intentionally. He did not invert the shot because her eye patch is clearly on the correct side.
Oh, that's what they said, that he actually flipped the
Yeah, people were speculating that he does this for certain reasons, for the aesthetic pleasing purposes of the shot. But I do believe that is the right eye that the eye patch is on. So why, in the context of Twin Peaks, Washington, would people be driving like it's,
could they just be going around the film crew that's driving a golf cart in front of a woman holding a shovel? I mean, did they have the road totally sealed off and these are extras, or are these like are these just cars that had nothing to do with the production?
I cannot imagine for a second that David Lynch would let something go through the shot that he didn't plan or have control over.
Well, we saw the crew in one of the shots before, where I was on top of that.
Well, you thought it was the crew. We will never know.
We know for sure. Give me a break.
But I mean, this is too on the nose to be a mistake.
That's why things are a mistake sometimes. Sometimes the most obvious thing fails to get noticed. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's hard. I don't know. Maybe they closed. I doubt. I mean, because maybe they didn't close off the entire road, and they're just walking down the road as a woman, and these people are like, oh, geez, look, they're filming something. We better get over. Could be that simple. Who knows? Whatever. Anyway, there should have been a head-on collision, and I'm disappointed that all three of these cars didn't die. Right, James?
You want the occupants to be okay, but you want the cars to die.
No, yes, exactly. I want to shoot the cars in the engine with a sniper bullet. That's how you kill cars. Or shoot the gas tank from the outside.
So this is Nadine going to Hurley's gas farm.
Right.
We know from the history of Twin Peaks, we know from season 1 and season 2 that Nadine and Big Ed Hurley are a couple. They are married.
Right.
And we know from the history of season 1 and season 2 and the secret history of Twin Peaks that Norma and Big Ed Hurley have been carrying a torch for each other for a very long time. And due to the intervention of the evil Hank, they were torn asunder, and Norma married Hank, and Big Ed Hurley, out of desperation, married this weird girl who showed up at his gas farm one day who went by the name of Nadine.
Yeah.
So fate has intertwined them together, but he has never had true love for Nadine. He has always wanted to be with Norma, and it has been something that has been killing the Twin Peaks community for years to come. for years in the past.
We feel his longing and
Yes.
Norma's longing, and they want to touch their longings together and have a nice night. Maybe a nice rest of their life, because they're both probably past 50, which means it's going to get ugly pretty soon.
But Big Ed is too much of a respectful person, and Norma is too dignified to get, to kind of go down that road.
Right. So Nadine comes in, and she's all excited, and she seems to have turned a corner. She's saying, she's confessing, I've been a selfish bitch, and, I didn't let you pursue the love that you had inside you. And it would make me so happy if you went and got that love that you deserve. This
gives meaning to the whole Jacoby sequences. This is the payoff for the Jacoby bullcrap.
Okay. You all right? What do you call this haircut? This looks like snakes trying to escape a hole.
Right. Yeah, it's holy snakes.
Holy snakes.
The Medusa look.
A little bit, okay. But but his reaction is not yes. It's like, are you okay? Because I think you're going to regret this later.
He knows that his wife does not have the greatest mental foundation.
She's a little bit of a nut job.
She has been a nut job for a very long time. Her obsession with silent drapes.
Be sensitive. Don't call people nut job. It's not.
Well, it's Nadine Hurley.
I know. I called her a nut job. It's not mine.
Yeah,
I'm a nut job myself, so I'm allowed.
So there's nothing in the world he wants more than for what her to be saying is to be true.
Right.
But he's hesitant. He's saying, you know what? Tomorrow morning you're going to regret that you said this. I'm not going to act on this permission you've given me. Things are not going to change. Yes. But she convinces him. She said, I was walking down here the whole way. I could have turned back at any moment. I could have changed my mind at any moment, but I didn't.
Right.
Because this is what I truly believe.
And she's this is her process of getting out of the shit that she's shoveling, right?
Yeah.
She's really fully embraced she bought that infomercial shovel from Jacoby, is that the
Dr.
guy?
Jacoby.
Right.
Or Dr. Amp, if you want to call him that.
Dr. Amp. All right, perfect. And so he's even worried about her show. Like, you been watching that InfoWar, you watching that Dr. Jacoby thing? What's going on here? You getting influenced by the media you're consuming? But no, she's actually saying that's actually, no. Yeah, I mean, she's like, yeah, I am. But no, it's I want people to be happy, and this is me being a different person. I'm getting rid of the shit. And we should all move on and go. You should go have a girlfriend.
It almost seems as though David Lynch knows that the story of Twin Peaks is coming to a permanent close, that we're never going to get to revisit these beloved characters again. So he's basically saying, I know Nadine got a bad rap. I know the audience doesn't really like her because they perceive her as being the wedge that was driven between Big Ed and Norma. Yeah. So how about before we go out and draw the curtains and turn off the lights, we'll redeem Nadine.
Oh, okay. Redeem her. I mean,
yeah. Well, it's not really her fault. I mean, it's... She is who she is, and events played out as they played out, but it's almost as though, it feels to me at least, that Lynch is trying to give us a happy ending. So that everyone is happy.
Right. I could totally make a joke
fairy tale, storybook
ending. Happy endings. But yeah, no, and, maybe this is just tying up this loose thread here, and this could be, let's see, let's keep pushing. But he sort of was like, oh man, this is, no, he's almost like, crap, she's off her meds. But, then he sort of realizes, like, wait a minute, this is actually kind of
it's
okay.
Like a wave of emotion comes over him where he realizes the opportunity this affords him. He's finally free.
Finally free to go pursue his love, which so am I. And that's okay. All right, so here we go. He gets out and he races in. We've got, I think this is Otis Redding, is that right?
Yeah, he wipes off his blue jeans, so he wants to look good for Norma.
Yep, kind of pats his hands on the back of his thighs, as all men do before going into tell a woman they love her, and he storms in and he looks around and, hey Norma, hey baby, you're over there, and she walks in. Norma's there looking nice, and she comes up. He immediately confesses. He says, or confesses his love, but she knows that they have a mutual trust.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Have they ever been explicit about it to each other?
It's been fairly obvious.
To each other, though, not just to the viewer.
But they knew that they couldn't act on those feelings because they were both promised betrothed to another.
Right. Yeah.
Or married to another, actually.
Yeah. Oh, betrothed is before you're married, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's post-betrothed.
Yeah, and for her, it's not a problem because Hank eventually got sent back to prison, and he was killed in prison.
Yeah.
Where all Hank should be killed.
I would love to get killed in prison right now. I'm pretty stressed out these days. My fucking airbag got stolen, and now I have to spend $500. Fuck!
Maybe someone can tell you, is it illegal to drive without an airbag?
Well, that's not the biggest problem I have. It's the fucking $500. But yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, I could Google that. We don't need to worry about the YouTube comments. All right. So anyway, right here, this guy comes up. This is her.
This is Walter,
business partner / current boyfriend.
It's like the song is running parallel to the emotions of the scene. It's speaking very on the point.
That's why Otis Redding is one of the greatest lover songs of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
He also makes great elevators.
Redding Elevators, is that an elevator brand?
Otis.
Oh yeah. I don't ride elevators. I'm not that rich. Did you get my flowers? Oh, so then anyway, we'll watch. What's this guy's name again?
Big Ed.
Big Ed. I knew that. The gas farm man.
What's this guy's name?
I don't know names. I'm terrible with names. I'm great with faces. You know what I'm saying, Dave?
Yes.
But this fucking dude, what a terrible moment. Every man has been here. I've been here. Everybody's been here. We all know what it feels like. Every human knows what it feels like to be like, hey, and then some other asshole comes in and just swoops away the person of your affection who's got your eye, and all of a sudden you have to have this sense that your hope. Here's what happens, James. Let me explain love. You write down, when you meet somebody you have a crush on, you write down metaphorically on a sheet of paper all the little hopes you have. Oh, I'm going to have warmth. I'm going to have affection. I'm going to have sex. I'm going to have food. We're going to do things together. We're going to have experiences. We're going to bond. All this. So you have this little sheet of paper filled with all these hopes and dreams about this relationship. This is all before the first date. This is all before the first kiss. It all happens. Then as soon as you get rejected, you had to crumble that sheet of paper up into a tight little ball and fucking throw it into a fire. That's how much it hurts to lose out in love. All right, let's keep going. So anyway, the guy comes, oh, did you get my flowers? Oh, yeah, I got flowers. So then they sit down and she gives him a look, and he, I would have run out. I would have started bawling and gone to the fire station.
Crawl under the stool.
Yeah, he just sits down.
Problem is he's a big Ed. He can't hide.
Yes, true. He's a little too big. I just need to point out a couple things here.
You could say, you know why they call me the gas farm?
Is that a fart joke?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's
Big Ed is far too dignified to do something as petty and immature as that.
No, he would never make a fart joke. So speaking of farts...
Speaking of farts, Pinecone.
Hold on, we're getting to it, James. You don't start with the headliner, you start with the opener here. Cherry pie. I thought he might do, grab this thing, and then like just start fucking eating the cherry pie with fistfuls at a time. I'm in that kind of mood right now. These are cool logs. What are they? There's like handle. Are these salt shakers?
I would think they're salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah,
of some sort.
Salt and pepper shakers. So these tell the truth. And then of course the most beautiful thing of all, a pine cone. I love it. Mm-hmm. It's reproduction. It's a hermaphroditic tree gonad, and it is awesome. All right, so then Betsy? What's her name? Mom? The mom of the girlfriend?
You're trying to pull out the word Becky, aren't
you? Becky!
No, Becky is the daughter. That's Shelley.
See? Okay, Shelley. I was pretty close.
You were so happy that Becky was... You're like, yes, it's Becky.
Well, yeah. I was within one family member, one family unit. She, a cup of coffee and a sign. See?
I love how literal he is. That's great.
Yeah, that's
But he says it to himself when no one's listening.
That's because he's mentally crumpling up that sheet of paper and throwing it into a nuclear furnace.
I always like
never to be seen again. It's really hard to get over this type of things, and because he's had his heart broken, it's terrible. So anyway, now we get to this. Sort of wraps up a little bit about that storyline that I had a beef with. Like, why the heck do we need to know about some franchising with this restaurant?
Okay.
Well, hold on. Let me just finish my thought here. At least they addressed that. This is the bookend to that intro.
No, there was more to it.
Ah, crap. All right, go ahead.
No, the whole thing about that we kind of glossed over and missed before is that this is a business partner / romantic interest, Walter, to Norma.
Yeah.
He has since turned the R&R restaurant into a series of franchises. I think there's 7 additional restaurants nationwide, all of which are called the Norma's R&R Diner.
Right.
This one is just called the R&R Diner. She refuses to change the name. He thinks it's prudent that they should change the name. But he also mentions that in the other diners that they have gone a more cost-effective method and use substitute ingredients for the cherry pies.
Right.
But this particular restaurant is not turning as much of a profit as the other ones strictly because of the way she manufactures the cherry pies, which she says are using all local organic grown ingredients.
All right.
And he tries to convince her to adhere to the formula of the franchise branches, but she refuses to do so.
Yeah.
And she ponders over his suggestion that they should change the R&R Diner to Norma's R&R because she says the R&R Diner has been the R&R Diner in Twin Peaks. It's a staple. People know it as that. I'm not so sure I want to change something that's so beloved.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about that cherry pie thing?
But the thing that we missed was that the implication was that... Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to punch you.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. James was grabbing at his shoe and his finger slipped.
Then I punched.
Well, it wasn't a punch. Your hand just touched my arm.
That was the full force.
I've known you for 4 years, and I think it's the first time we've ever touched each other.
Yes.
Now I need to go get a fucking STD test. All right, go ahead.
Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But we do know that certain store that Mr. Cooper goes to all the time at his work was... People have corrected me in the comments so many times. Please tell me how to say this correctly.
I don't know. Coffee.
Yes, that place.
Yeah.
So it's been assumed that that place has been getting its pies from one of the subsidiaries of Norma's franchise.
All right.
So what they were getting were knockoff pies. They weren't getting the true Twin Peaks pies.
They're selling to Las Vegas?
That's what people have been saying.
Okay.
I don't particularly buy into it. It seems a little weird that, selling to Las Vegas from Washington State. A little weird,
Well,
but,
why not just get pies from some other pie place?
Or just make it themselves. I know.
Yeah.
It's a little kooky.
Like there's only one correct pie. There's all kinds of different. There's all kinds of wrong pies.
It's a little bit out there, but people are
Yeah.
saying that maybe that's what he's been getting, and it's not until he gets a true Norma cherry pie that he'll wake up.
Well, that part I get. Not the they're getting.
I know.
Other pies. That part's
I am
bullshit.
not a subscriber to that particular theory, but I was going to throw that.
But the
out
side of the theory where maybe he'll come back here and have one of her pies, the proper original pie that is going to link him to his old self.
there. Right.
Okay, so all right, I see how that.
So that's how they built meaning into that transaction between Walter and Norma initially.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, cool. So anyway, so she decides she's out. She doesn't want any more to do with this franchise stuff. She wants to exercise her
Buyout option.
And he's like shocked. He doesn't quite get it because they're starting to make money. They're doing good.
But this means that she's going to relinquish her share of the other 7 franchise restaurants, but she's going to keep the original R&R diner in Twin Peaks.
And it sounds, she's simplifying her life.
Yeah, she wants things back to the way they used to be, back to the way that they should have been.
Right. And this is kind of these two don't seem like a good couple. She's sort of a kind of a country girl. He's sort of like a business. She's like a small town kind of, just keep life simple. And he's sort of a ambitious business guy kind of dude. Maybe not, high finance Wall Street type of dude, but he's still one of those, profit and loss statements type of dudes. You know what I mean? She does her work at a booth in her restaurant. That's pretty as basic as it gets.
So would you say she's a small town girl?
Yeah.
Living in perhaps maybe a lonely world?
Mm-hmm. Just a small town girl. I don't know. It's like...
the midnight train girl.
Is that Bon Jovi?
I don't know. I think it's what's the name of that band?
E Street Band?
No, it's God dang it.
Dr. Bruce Wayne and the E Street
it's got
Fellas?
That one name. God dang it.
Fuckface?
No, that's 2 words.
No, that's one word. You can put them together. There's no space between fucking face. Okay.
I'm gonna look it up, but it's gonna kill me when I find it.
All right, so it says my friend Merriam-Webster face. All right, so anyway, she insists that James is googling this up here while I guide everybody through.
Freaking Journey! I knew it.
Oh yeah, Journey.
Of course, it's Journey.
That's right, Journey. Anyway, so she seems pretty content with her decision. He senses that he's not even going to try to really talk her out of it, and he just tells her it's a big mistake, and you're going to regret this, okay, lady? And it sort of ends their relationship too.
Yeah, which is very convenient because we're running out of episodes and they need to tie this up quick.
Yeah.
So let's get Walter out of here and let's finally give the audience something they've been longing for 25 years. This is awesome.
Big Ed is suffering in his own mind. I wouldn't call it... This looks like meditation, but meditation also looks like a man experiencing desperate heartbreak. And there he is. And, of course, the song is just aching. And then a hand appears. Who could it be? What if this is Cooper? And Cooper just gives him a kiss. It's Dougie. Dougie trying to bang him because he thinks he's Jade.
Jade gives 2 rides.
Yeah, two rides. You're pretty like Jade. He wouldn't put a sentence that long together. But then there she is. He turns and he sees her and there's touch and they're into it. And they have great chemistry.
Well, he could have gotten away with Dougie there if he said, marry me. He'd be like, marry me.
Yeah, marry me. Anyway,
I thought at first
Shelley.
Yes, I thought Shelley was going to drop the coffee pot in a very cliche manner, but she didn't.
That's kind of hoping that would happen. And then it burns her ankles and she's got to go get surgery and stuff. No, but they have
clinging to the front of the ambulance as it drives away.
But the ambulance guy's like scared on drugs, swerving around and like throws her up. But she lands on a gurney and then just clinging to the gurney while they're pushing her through the hospital. No, but this is a sweet moment. No tongue, but still pretty good. Yeah. And look at that, a nice smile. This is what everybody's been hoping for.
Yep, this alone makes the season 3 worth it.
Did you tear up?
There was a moment in this episode a couple of times where I got a little bit there. This didn't do it to me, although I was extremely happy to see it happen.
Oh, that's nice. I'm really relieved to find out you have human emotions.
Yes.
Unlike me, who only has anger, pretty much. Anger, regret, and regretful anger. There she goes. Anyway, she's crying a little bit. That's pretty good acting. I always like seeing a person crying when they're not really trying to. Or, I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, no, basically what happens is they freeze frame and someone runs up and grabs a little saline drip and they squeeze it on their cheek and then they run away.
Yeah. What if they had it was blood? This turns into true blood all of a sudden. Anyway, so this is a nice moment. I thought this was cute. They're gonna go have old people sex, and luckily they're both already had menopause, so no one's getting pregnant.
Managed to ruin it.
I think it's great. You know what? I hope I get kissed when I'm old. I'm too old to make out.
You will get the kiss of death.
Well, there's that. That's when God finally comes down and gives you a beach of death. You have to eventually give up making out. Can't make out. I'm so old. I'm like my age plus 1 day away from never making out again. Problem is finding people to make out with. It's really
That's
tough.
the one thing. My dad's like old fashioned, where he would every time he would ask you how you're doing, he would say, "How are you making out?" It's like, what are you talking about?
Oh, I've heard that's not. Yeah,
I hate that.
There's nothing sexual to that. Though.
No, but it's just weird.
Yeah, how'd you make out? Like, you went to the casino? Yeah.
No, it's not. It's always, how are you making out?
No, I get it. No, I know, but it's that's not.
It's like when you're sitting like studying with someone else in your room, and it's like another dude or another girl or something like that, and he goes, "How are you making out?" And everyone starts giggling. You're like, "Come on."
How are you blowing each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I get it. All right. So anyway, we got some rocks and some trees and stuff, and so all right, Then they show some clouds. This is basically the equivalent of David Lynch's A Train Going Into a Tunnel, is showing some clouds moving around. With the hot dogs.
I'm pretty sure they're not banging in the R&R right there in the booth.
Yes, they are.
Well, they're not in a booth. They're on a stool, but
yeah. Well, it's hard to bang on a stool. You go to the back and you bang on the mop bucket. Come on, James, grow up. Anyway, this is nice. They got married, and then we got to see some clouds.
Yeah, it opens with a very, very positive, upbeat, great moment.
Yes, which is just what a fella needs. And so then
it immediately cuts to the polar opposite. The scratching sound of the interdimensional travel. We see the power lines moving, which is inherent to the Black Lodge entities traveling via electricity.
We've got dark street, classic Lynchian shot here with the single light, right? That's the thing you explained to me.
He does that all the time.
We keep seeing all the time. And then it turns out to be evil Doppel Cooper.
Yep, Mr. C.
Mr. C. And it gets a little intense. And this is kind of cool, though. I thought this was fun when I figured out this is the gas station.
Yeah, before we get to that, though, what was the last thing we saw Mr. C doing in the prior episode?
Oh, God. He beat up a gang and became their leader.
He did. But why did he do that?
Because he wanted coordinates.
Yes, from who?
Ray.
Yes. And he got the coordinates, and this is what the coordinates are leading him to.
My favorite part about when you say yes, when you ask me questions, is the surprise built into your yes.
It is. Well, yeah, I'm just waiting to hear Jon Snow.
Well, it's totally rational.
And again, not gonna talk Game of Thrones.
Yeah, no Game of Thrones.
Also,
David Lynch, Jon Snow. That's not. I do a better Jon Snow than that. All right. So anyway, the one of the woodsmen, right?
Yep.
One of the woodsman guy comes out. This is the parking lot guy, so he's sort of low on the ranks here. He comes out and they kind of, he parks over here, and it's this really cool old fucked up building. I thought this was an interesting place. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he takes the car and steals something out of the glove box. Do you think, did they build this special for David Lynch, or do you think this is just some old abandoned place?
I don't know. I mean, it's
neat. I like the font.
It does, in a way, look like a Hollywood facade. Like, there's not much to it, so it's very possible. And the fact that there is a stairway going up the side of the building in which there's no door,
just the light above it.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I didn't even notice there was no door. How did I not notice that? Probably because I'm a maniac. All right, yeah.
So the thing that anyone who's watching this for the first time would immediately think of is that this is the famous convenience store. It literally says convenience store. And what is the significance of the convenience store?
This is where the woodsmen hang out. They were all summoned here after the nuclear bomb thing in that one crazy episode.
Yes, but even more interesting, who visited the room above the convenience store and came back changed forever?
Well, see, that part, you told me about that in an email, because you wanted to talk about a specific moment, which we're going to show pretty soon here. I didn't remember any of that. So if it wasn't from season 3, I didn't.
Okay, Phillip Jeffries.
Oh, okay.
He goes there, and we don't know quite how he got there, whether he was following a lead on a case or what, but he managed to get into a meeting above the convenience store where the Black Lodge entities kind of hang out. And when I say Black Lodge, I also mean the ones that are known to hang out in the waiting room of the Black Lodge. Not necessarily Black Lodge, but ones that are kind of associated with that. Clearly not White Lodge, guys.
Was this convenience store ever seen in seasons 1 or 2?
I think in Fire Walk With Me, it may have referenced it. I'm not entirely sure, but I think in Fire Walk With Me, we would have seen it.
All right. Okay. Well, all right.
But we absolutely see the upstairs portion of it.
Yes.
In Fire Walk With Me.
And as they're walking up, they start to shimmy, you get some electricity sounds, and they sort of kind of disappear there.
Which states that the room above the convenience store is not just a physical place; it's an ethereal, interdimensional place, which is so much cooler because that's what I always pictured that would be.
Yeah.
It's not something we can just stumble into.
No, and it was interesting the way they did that. So they just sort of phase away. Yeah,
Mr. C wants to go here because who is he looking for?
Phillip Jeffries.
Right, and why does he want to find Phillip Jeffries?
Well, I can reveal the spoiler if you want me to say it.
Because it's not a spoiler.
Well, he asked him why did you send Ray to kill or the other guy to
Exactly.
kill?
It's not a spoiler. That's why he's going there.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fine. Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe he had, maybe the guy owed him $50 or something.
Yeah.
So here's like the another guy sitting there waiting, just sort of looks at him, and he cranks up this machine.
Who has also been sitting there for about 27 years now, because I think he's sitting in that same spot in Fire Walk with Me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see the floral wallpaper, which is from the Tremont's painting, which is also from the vision that Agent Gordon Cole saw when he looked through the portal at the zone.
Okay.
He saw the woodsman standing on the stairway with the floral wallpaper behind him.
Wow.
So
that's some great background info.
Big stuff happening.
Literally. And he's got this shit coming out of his face. Is that blood or oil or some sort of
I would imagine it's like the burnt motor oil or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Or it's reminiscent of the sick kid in the car, of the sickness that's spreading through Twin Peaks. But I would assume that they're immune because they pretty much are the sickness.
Yeah. Exactly. What makes a sickness sick?
Yeah.
There is nothing. Yeah, so I don't know, but it looks gross. His laundry bills are going to be expensive. So then it kind of comes into this moment here, and should we switch to the premiere, James, and go through it scene by scene?
Let's do that.
All right, we're going to go into a little bit of video here, everybody. A little special treat. Okay, so James, should we go slow or should we play it?
We should probably go slow, because if we play it, bad things will happen from
With
YouTube.
The YouTube channel. Yeah, we're already pushing the edge on that thing. So anyway, here we are in Premiere. I've re-cropped it, so it might not look different, but so there's he hits the thing, right? And we're gonna go frame by frame. So you're gonna hear lots of clicking and stuff. It starts to flash a bunch. Cooper doesn't really react, right?
Right.
And we'll just keep going. The light's going dimmer. There's the wallpaper, and then all of a sudden...
Okay, let's stop right at that shot.
Right here?
This, everyone would recognize, this is the jumping man. This is the long plaster mask nose dude that we saw moving around and
Can I go a little more?
Yeah, you can go one more.
Okay.
Jumping around above the convenience store during the convenience store meeting made famous by Fire Walk With Me. We haven't seen him in a very long time, but this is absolutely him.
Yeah.
We've also seen the Tremont child wearing the same mask. What the significance is, I'm not quite sure. That long nose could be reminiscent of the bug. It could mean anything, though. It could
Why would it be the bug?
Because the bug is a large proboscis.
Oh, yeah.
I call it proboscis, but I'm sure there's a better word for it. Like the mosquitoes and the big nose tube a mosquito sucks stuff through.
That's the better word for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of that. It could also be, the mother experiment sending the tendrils of garbage out of the front of her face. It could be any number of things. It could be a beak for like an owl. It could be...
That's how he feeds out of flowers.
Yeah, or it could even be reminiscent of the whole Black Plague doctors who wore that long beak-like mask.
Yeah. Yeah, this is real weird. I didn't pick up... I mean, I saw it, and I was like, what the fuck was that shit? That was crazy. I thought it was like a weird clown.
But it goes by way too fast for you to see what's happening, but as we go through, we see something being superimposed on his face.
Which is the nose thing, right?
No, which is a different face.
Oh, this other face.
Without the nose.
Okay, so do we know who that is?
Absolutely. Keep going. You tell me who that is.
That's Don S. Davis.
No.
Major Garland Briggs.
No, that is not Major Garland Briggs.
Oh, damn it. Judy Garland.
No.
I'm out of ideas.
Come on. It'll be obvious once you hit... There you go. Obvious.
Obvious? That's the Mike, the one-armed guy?
Oh my god.
I have no idea.
Mike has a beard. That's Sarah Palmer.
He's got a mustache. That's Sarah Palmer?
That's Sarah Palmer.
Who the fucking... I mean, I guess sort of, yeah. She's got some of the lumpy eyes.
She's got smoker's lips.
Smoker's lips? I thought that's a mustache.
No, that's just the wrinkles around your lip from sucking on cigarettes your whole life.
Lips. Yeah. Well, it also happens when yeah. I mean, everybody gets lip wrinkles, I guess. Oh god. Yeah. Okay. That's looking a little more like Sarah.
Yeah. But what does this mean? Does this mean that her soul is trapped above the convenience store? That she had some sort of dance with the devil in the Black Lodge at some point? That when she said "men are coming," something happened to me? That she was inhabited by some creature? That she is the girl from the flashback, which is a little unlikely because of the timing and because she didn't grow up in New Mexico.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Is she inhabited by the Jumping Man? What is inside of her? Why is a spiritual finger inside the entity inside of her black? Why does it take its face off like Laura Palmer took her face off in the waiting room? And why is Laura Palmer's smile behind it? Why does Laura Palmer in the very beginning of the series when she's talking to Cooper get ripped upwards violently by something in the lodge? Was it Mother taking her to replace her in the real world with something else?
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay, wow. You're really throwing out a lot of questions there.
What could it be?
Here's my answers to all of them. No, I would say I don't have any answers. So has she had any links to Phillip Jeffries in any other way?
Absolutely none that I can think of.
Okay, so that's an interesting thing. We don't really know. Yeah. Those are all good questions.
Somehow she has become intertwined with the meddlings of these spirits.
Yeah.
Maybe because she was like a virtual factory of Garmonbozia, the suffering that she went through with the loss of her daughter and her husband, that they latched onto her like leeches and fed off of her until there was nothing left, and then they just took over the hollow shell that was left behind.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But another thing I should mention is that as you're scrubbing through this, a very, very smart person on Reddit noticed something.
Okay.
They noticed that during this scene with all this garbled audio, that if you slow it down and you clean it up, you can hear what appears to be set discussions. Basically, someone saying, Mike, over here, move back a little bit. Yeah, just like that.
Okay.
It's like it's either Lynch or someone else on the set talking to the DP or to a gaffer or something, giving him instructions on where to stand, what to do. Perhaps it's the person in the costume right there, whose name is maybe Mike. But
Okay.
it's really interesting. He used that little snippet of set audio, or what appears to be set audio, in the show.
All right, we can play that real quick, right?
We haven't cleaned it up, so I don't think you'll be able to hear much, if anything.
Well, no, it won't be identifiable, but we'll play the chunk that includes that.
Okay.
Okay, listen real closely. It's really quick. We'll do it one more time. It's like it's really tough to tell though. So somebody clean that up, and we know what they're
If you want to find a much, much better version of that, go to the Reddit site, subreddit, you'll find it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fascinating. Very, very interesting. Okay. So then now we're back to the screenshots.
All right, so this part reminds me of something else.
Okay.
He pulls a lever on an electrical device and creates an electrical flashing. What was the last time we saw that happen? Or one of the first times we actually saw that happen in this series? And by the series, I mean season 3.
When
Think about the mauve room, the red room.
That's what I'm thinking
not
about.
the red room, but the purple room, as people might
where the
wanna
woman
call it.
jumps off the thing.
Right. So she basically Cooper
gets
follows.
knocked off.
He follows her up into the upper part of that, but not before he tries to approach the electrical outlet. She does not let him approach the electrical outlet. She pulls him back, as if to say, it's not right, it's not your time yet. So she takes him upstairs into space. She pulls the thing, thereby sacrificing herself and falling back down into the reality that is Earth as we know it. And when he goes back down, the room below is different, in a different configuration, a different person, and he can then pass through the electrical outlet.
Yeah.
So it's almost as though hitting this electricity shifts dimensions. It changes where you were or where you are. It's almost as though he's opening the portal to the place that Cooper needs to go in order to meet Phillip Jeffries.
Yeah. That makes sense. Like, in order to get through the part, you got to crank up the power and do something different to the electrical field.
You got to rip open the dimension.
Yeah. And obviously this show is about how electricity is like the conduit and the mechanism for a lot of that to happen.
This really should have been a big Mr. Wizard episode.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Wizard. Whatever happened to him? Did he, like, was he...
He was, I mean,
did he ever get arrested or something?
I don't know, but there's a lot of really good YouTube edits out there that just cut out certain portions of the show that make him look like a complete jerk.
Yeah, he's being a real dickhead to the kids.
I mean, completely out of context, but, it's hilarious.
Yeah. You want to get yourself killed, you little idiot?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like the one where he's driving away in a field in his car and leaving the kid behind.
That's funny. All right, so cool. He's in heaven, sleeping in a bunk bed with Bob Ross.
Wizards don't go to heaven.
They don't? Where do they go?
Sorcerers go to Nebraska.
Oh, okay. Well, you get some weird fortune cookies. All right. Yes. So anyway, they open up the door here. What is this stick he's got? Is that some sort of significance? Is that one of those Tennessee toothpicks?
Someone's going to tell me that.
From a giant raccoon?
I don't. It's almost as he's tapping the stick to summon another guy who's going to lead him through the passage.
Right. This is the world's worst brothel. All right, so they go in, and he gets led through another hallway kind of thing. It kind of shimmies a little bit. And we end up at a staircase.
Not just any staircase, though. This is the famous staircase that Gordon Cole saw.
Oh, not the Leland House staircase?
Well, no, I'm glad you said that, too, because a lot of people were theorizing that this is sort of like a doppelganger house of the Palmer House. The staircase looks very similar to the Palmer House staircase.
Yeah.
And
also that's what I was thinking.
The same staircase from the Tremont painting, the same staircase that Gordon Cole saw the woodsman standing on when we first got a glimpse of the floral wall pattern painting or wallpaper at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
So this is a very famous staircase.
Okay, cool. All right, good. I like it. And they got to go upstairs. Just like the gang. He had to go upstairs to beat up a gang, too. Remember that? All right, so the guy leads them up there, and, Cooper...
Drink deep and ascend. Is the staircase.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. So there they go, and he finally makes it, and now he's outside. This looks like a whole different area,
to the same hotel from Fire Walk With Me.
Okay. All right, so he's getting close to this door. Now we have an encounter. He turns around, he notices this woman, and she is doing this weird backwards walking here. You can kind of tell.
And I feel bad not recognizing her or knowing who she was. Whether maybe she was in Fire Walk with Me, maybe she's important to the series, and I'm just not remembering her.
Yeah.
Maybe someone can fill me in.
You. So she's just being nice. She doesn't even say anything cryptic. She's like, "Oh, you need a little help? All right, let me help you out." So she.
But was anything going through your mind when this scene was happening?
That I gotta pay fucking $500 because some piece of shit stole my airbag. I haven't even made one payment on the car. I've had the car for 3 fucking weeks. I'm upping the anger because we're recording it and I want people to think of. I mean, it is very upsetting though. I can't believe I have to deal with this shit. No, but that's what was going through my mind.
Well, what I was thinking was Mr. C is finally going to encounter potentially Phillip Jeffries
on
this long journey.
Yeah.
And because we know one of the last episodes was dedicated to the memory of David Bowie, even though David Bowie died before Margaret Lanterman's character did, is it possible that we can have hope that we'll have a scene that was shot prior to his death, but we'll see David Bowie's character?
With older David Bowie.
Yeah.
Like in the last couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping for.
That would be cool.
But 2 things kept me from having too much hope about that. One, the fact that they dubbed over his voice in Fire Walk with Me, which made me think, okay, well, maybe they're going to have to use more of his voice and they want to keep it consistent, so they'll dub him over here, and they'll use the voice actor for this additional scene.
Changing Phillip Jeffries' voice, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the fact that, he was dedicated the last episode, so it kind of seems unlikely that we'll see him.
Oh,
but
really?
I had a glimmer of hope that we would see him.
Okay, yeah. No, I wasn't thinking about that, but anyway, I was just thinking how gross her... I mean, who is she? Honestly, I was like, what's her deal? Is she powerful? Is she just there to help? Is she like the hotel worker?
Is,
she owns the place, but she happens to live here, and it's her...
She's
like this demon who... She's sort of like one of the guy who takes people across the Hell River, the river Styx.
Sharon Stone.
She's just there to like operate this hotel in this strange dimension or something.
If I had had enough time, I would have absolutely gone back and rewatched Fire Walk with Me and the missing pieces to see if I could pick up on who she is, to jog my memory, because it's very plausible and possible that she is in that.
Okay.
But I didn't have time to do that, unfortunately, and I do not know who she is.
You sinner.
I know. So, I do feel bad about that.
Oh, that's okay. Want me to rub your shoulders?
No.
Can I?
No.
No, damn it. All right, so then he goes inside, the door opens, and he gets inside. Then we got some more electricity and stuff, and he walks in. It's pretty dark here, but this light's flickering, so we do get some shots of him. David Lynch is not afraid of filming dark, man. Jeez, this guy. And then we get the shot of this. Now, is this the same kind of upper piece of that?
I think so.
One thing with the gauges, because it's like spitting out steam into this bubble.
And there's a good backstory.
Am I missing
to this.
something here?
Actually, another interesting thing is, do you know in the mauve/purple room when you first see it?
Yeah.
I believe this is the same set because the ceiling is exactly the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they did reuse the set, and it's well known that David Bowie's mother told him when he was a child that if he tried hard enough in life, he could become anything. So he became a tea kettle.
Is that a thing that he said once? Or
no.
Oh, okay. I'd like to be a tea kettle.
I think there was like a lyric in a song that he did once where it was like "man in a tin can" or something.
Well, but maybe that's it. Yeah,
but what someone on Reddit said that I thought was really, really interesting is that they said that this kind of resembles more of a diving bell. And diving bells were popular, and it allowed people for the first time to descend to depths to explore new worlds previously left untouched by man. And that Phillip Jeffries has been doing interdimensional travel for the past 25 years, so he's like the man in the diving bell who is so deep in an emotional, meditative state that he does not emerge from his diving bell. He's deep in it.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay. I mean, there's something very industrial about this whole thing, though. It has this sort of smoky turn-of-the-century machinery
kind of steampunkish.
A little bit, yeah. Could it be referencing, like, nuclear war, with the bomb going off? That sort of seemed to trigger a bunch of the woodsmen.
But it does...
Well, hold on. I'm just saying, like, not that but like the dawn of the industrial age heralded that was followed quickly by nuclear power, which sort of all fits into this, what humans are sort of doing things to the earth that had never been done before, which is mass production, mass pollution, nuclear power can obviously wreck the planet. Speaking to that in some way?
Absolutely. I mean, any interpretation is just as valid as the next one.
Yes.
And you can see those like prongs coming off the top of it is almost as though this is also an electrical conduit, that maybe he can travel in and out of the diving bell, tea kettle, what have you, via electrical means.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that totally could be. Man, there's... David Lynch is going to be like Jesus in like 2,000 years. There's going to be some weird religion where they're like, nobody knows any answers.
Lynchism.
Lynchism. That sounds like American history.
Lynchology.
Man, it's so just fucking warps my head. Do you have any weed? We should get fucked up, man. All right, so there he is. So all right, so but he's talking to him. He's got. Did he have a voice?
Yes, David Bowie did have a voice. I presume.
Oh yeah,
obviously was the guy who was dubbed over.
Yeah.
Who dubbed over David Bowie from Fire Walk with Me.
Right. So what? So Cooper asked him, "Why did you send Ray to kill me?" I think we've passed that part.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so do you want to take over now?
Well, this is a flashback to Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah.
Where Phillip Jeffries says, "Well, now, let's not absolutely talk about Judy," or something like that. Can you go? I'm not going to talk about Judy. Absolutely nothing about Judy.
Right. Do you know who Judy is?
Yeah. The funny thing about this is that a theory that people, have had for a long time is that it goes back to the Cockney rhyming slang.
Okay.
So that one thing that kind of flew over our heads where he says, "I almost thought I broke his Gregory." You know how that works, right?
People in the comments point out what Gregory...
Right, because it's Gregory Peck, but you don't say Peck because Peck rhymes with neck, and you don't say the word that rhymes. So if someone says, "I want to go take a trip up the apples and pears, stairs."
Oh my God.
So Jesus it was a way Christ. I think it was a way for bootleggers to communicate out in public without people knowing what they were talking about.
Oh, okay. All right, I see.
So another one, whatever. But that's generally how it works. But people are saying...
Like when you want your friend to give you weed, so you ask him to get you some CD-ROMs? I'm just joking.
Okay, I was trying to analyze that, but anyway.
I kind of missed the word CD-ROM.
Yes.
I learned about them on the information superhighway.
Yeah. So people were thinking that this was kind of a play on... Oh, actually, the kid with the green glove.
Yeah.
He said, "I put my bees down on the counter. Bees and honey, money."
Oh my God.
It's Cockney rhyming.
It's just like if you don't know the exact translation, how are you supposed to figure that out?
Exactly, that's the whole point.
Honey and money. Okay.
If you're not in on it and you're a bootlegger, then people are not going to know what you're saying.
All
but
right.
anyway,
Fair
they're saying that maybe he said Judy and he didn't say the last name because the last name was Garland and that Major Garland Briggs. Now, it doesn't have a rhyme to it, but he might have been using that to say he's talking about Major Garland Briggs. But people are saying, no, that can't be the fact because Major Garland Briggs even equated himself to Judy Garland at one point in the show. So it'll be a little bit too obvious if that were the case.
He could have said, are we going to talk about Seth MacFarlane? Garland?
Well, you'd just be Seth, and you don't see the second one.
I don't care. Well, really, there's rules all of a sudden?
Yes, there are.
To this nonsense. Seth MacFarlane, Garland. Therefore, Major Garland Briggs.
Yeah.
I meant to say Family Guy. Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane, Garland. All right, I fucked that up. I should have. Sorry. Well, I'm sorry, James. All right. So, anything else to add to that?
Well, not really, but the whole thing is the identity of Judy has been one of the biggest mysteries since Fire Walk With Me came out.
Okay.
No one knows who Judy is. No one has any clue. It's been speculated that Judy was one of the secretaries of one of the FBI agents, possibly Phillip Jeffries' secretary, because secretaries have a very important role in this series because, Diane was Cooper's secretary. Mm-hmm. Lucy is the secretary of the Twin Peaks, and she's got all the answers.
Yep, and the log is the log lady's secretary.
That's actually her husband, soul trapped in a ghostwood log.
Spoiler alert!
Who died on their wedding day as a firefighter trying to extinguish the flames in the wood because there's fire where he was going.
Oh, geez. What a horrible wedding day. Did they still have to pay the full price to the caterers?
I think so.
God damn. This world, huh? All right, so some of this dialogue must be important.
This dialogue is very important because what happens here is that Cooper is talking to Phillip Jeffries for the first time in a very long time, aside from his brief phone conversations with who he assumed was Phillip Jeffries but wasn't sure.
Yeah.
He says, "You showed up at the FBI headquarters in Philadelphia," because he had a memory of that. Even though he's Mr. C, what this kind of tells me or makes me think is that Mr. C is simply not necessarily a doppelganger of Cooper, but he's the evil intent of Cooper. He is Cooper, but he's the malevolent side of Cooper that has all the memories of Cooper because he was present for all the events in Cooper's life.
Oh, okay.
And Dougie is the innocence of Cooper, and they have to somehow be unified together again before they can become a whole. And I think at some point, based on that one scene that we saw Andy in the White Lodge, well, people hate the people who call it the White Lodge, but in
what's it called?
The Fortress is what people call it.
Oh.
I like to think of it as the White Lodge, but
because there's the whole dichotomy between black and white.
But people seem to think that with Lucy, that one scene when Andy was looking up where he was leading her to the conference room at the sheriff's station where she was looking back and forth, that possibly both Coopers were basically taken captive. They were in the conference room and she was having to look through them to see who was good and who was evil.
Okay.
But it seems like this is an affirmation of that because Phillip Jeffries says, "So you really are Cooper," or "So you are Cooper."
Right.
So it's almost as though he's fooled Jeffrey, or Jeffrey understands that this may not be the full Cooper, but this is at least part of Cooper.
Right. And it shows that at first he didn't doubt. He didn't even believe who this guy was. He needed to prove who he was before. Okay. All right. So, but is this him talking? Like, is this is him? Or is there something else in the shot that I miss? Right?
No, that's his catheter.
This is his colostomy bag just vaporizing into the air. His catheter.
Well, we do know the last time when Andy was in the fortress, aka White Lodge, he was holding that device that kind of looked like one of these diving bells, or possibly Jack Rabbit's palace, and it was emitting smoke upwards, and the smoke was communicating and showing images to Andy. So it seems as though this is some form of communication, which could go back to the whole Native American slant, speaking with smoke signals and things.
Sure, yeah. There's also a tradition of reading tea leaves, sort of like a psychic, divining different
It's how British people communicate.
That is how they communicate, yeah. They communicate with beans, toast, and tea leaves. That's how they were able to take over the planet, which shows you how horrible the planet was.
So, as an exercise of frustration, Mr. C is finally hammering on Phillip Jeffries the one question that we've been wanting to ask Phillip Jeffries for 25 years.
Yeah.
Who the heck is Judy?
Right. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, thank God, because I thought I was supposed to know who Judy was, and I was like, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. And then when they don't know who Judy is
You're
either,
not alone.
I was like, yes, yes.
But we do get a subtle hint here.
Okay, tell me.
He says, let me give you a subtle hint. Let me write it down for you. And he starts spitting out numbers.
55555.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a phone number, if it's coordinates, if it's an address. They don't really let us see all of it, but he does write it down.
He does write it down.
But he then says again, who is Judy? And he says, you've already met Judy.
Oh, okay.
That's our clue.
Okay, that's a big clue. So we don't know this number. It could be a phone 1-900. Maybe it's like calling a chat line with hot teens.
Yeah.
All right. So I hope I got that screenshot. You've already met Judy. So what's your theory about that then?
Who do we know that Mr. C has come into contact with that is still amongst the living that could still be contacted again?
Chantal.
Yeah,
she
possibly.
Likes
snacks. Judy loves snacks.
Judy Garland famously liked snacks, especially if it was food.
Who would Phillip Jeffries, being an FBI agent, know that Mr. C could possibly have already interacted with?
Gordon Cole?
Maybe.
Well, Phillip Jeffries knew Gordon Cole. They were on the same. They were on the Blue Rose project.
My idea is.
I have no idea. I mean,
it could be something as simple and direct as maybe it's Diane.
Oh, okay.
Or it could be something even more out there. It could be Tammy, maybe. You think? And you're thinking, why would it be Tammy? Tammy was around long after Phillip Jeffries went missing.
You think Judy's last name is Ease Nuts?
No. But and the
Sorry,
reason
I didn't mean
to
elevate the conversation.
Yes, the reason I say that is because we know that David Bowie is capable of moving in a non-linear fashion. He travels through dimensions. He travels through time.
Yeah.
So we can't think in a linear fashion. We have to think that Judy could be someone that would not fit into the timeline that would make sense. We've got to expand our minds a little bit.
Yeah. Sarah Palmer? Laura Palmer?
Who knows? Maybe.
Leland.
It's
Cherry Pie.
To me, every single one of those is a possibility. Because I have no freaking clue.
Yeah. Who is Judy? God damn it, why don't you tell me? So yeah, we don't really get a satisfying answer out of this. And then oh, not yet. It happens soon, but the phone starts ringing, right?
Yeah.
So he answers it, and then everything kind of... Oh, no, it does go away. Yeah, so... Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Well, the phone is basically a teleportation device that boots him out of the room that he's in.
Okay.
Phillip Jeffries stopped responding to him. The phone rang. It was basically
now he's out front.
It was basically a trick to kick him out.
Okay, got it. But I recall the Phillip Jeffries tea kettle disappearing or something, didn't it?
Well, the entire gas station disappears.
Well, that happens. Yeah, that okay. I don't know. I'm just thinking right before the phone rang. But so this is inspired by The Matrix, obviously.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It's like a big truck runs over. Man, those movies are so good. At least the first one is so good.
Yeah, and then everyone in Twin Peaks becomes Dougie.
Yeah. This has happened 7 times before.
Yeah.
All right, so Static Sir, okay. And then all of a sudden this is Ray, right?
No, this is not. Ray is dead.
Damn.
Ray had his face punched in.
I know, I said that already. I mean, I said who Ray was. This is...
You'll get there.
No, I don't. I won't. Jason?
No.
Chad?
No. Chad was the deputy who's in prison, right? In jail right now.
Oh, yeah, there's that. I forgot about that guy.
His initials are R.H.
Ray H.
Richard Horn.
Richard Horn. Damn.
Who has been long since theorized to be the son of Audrey Horn and the son of Mr. C.
So this could be his kid right here.
That's what everyone, including me at this point, was thinking. This holy crap. Because if you remember, he was present at not the farm, but he was present at that warehouse that Mr. C and Ray had their fatal, they didn't arm wrestle each other, but that fatal encounter after he beat the arm wrestling guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So when he right, I remember that. When he
Renzo,
says,
I
"Who's
think
your
his
mom?"
name
and he
was.
says Audrey Horne, do you think he goes, "Oh, I fucked her once"? Shit.
Well, I think
probably about 25 years ago.
No, I think this is the part where everyone jumped off their couch and went, "Oh my god!"
Because this confirms.
It's confirmation of what we've all thought all along.
What? That he's his son?
Yes.
Why is this confirmation?
No, that Audrey Horne is the mother of Richard Horne.
But does this confirm that he's the father?
No, it does not.
Okay, so we don't know that.
But it's strongly implied via this scene.
Has he ever banged Audrey Horne? Did they get it on?
The implication is that he did while she was in a coma.
Oh yeah, there's that. That's right. That's horrible. God damn it. All right, sorry I asked. All right, so okay. I like his distraction move. He spits, and the guy looks at the spit.
Yeah.
And then he goes into action. Of course, Richard here is outclassed. There's no way he's going to take on this, amazing fast man monster guy here who knows how to handle himself. So he beats him up, kicks him a couple times real hard. And, oh God, it hurts so much. And
how do you know that he cares for him?
Because he doesn't kill him.
Right. He doesn't do a Renzo punch. He doesn't cave his face in with his punch.
Right.
Because we know he's capable of doing it very easily.
Very much so. So is this Richard's phone?
I think this is Mr. C's phone.
Oh, yeah.
And this part had me a little confused because if you recall a long time ago, and it may have only been like 2 episodes ago or so, but we know that Diane had a text message.
Yeah.
And it said Las Vegas.
Right, I do remember that.
And I think her response was something like, they haven't asked me about it yet.
Okay.
But this happened a while ago, which tells us one of 2 things. One, is this event out of order? Or 2, or actually kind of the same thing, are the 2 timelines out of sync? Or is the person who sent Las Vegas to Diane not Mr. C? And this is all a misdirection that it's Mr. C talking to Diane.
Oh, man. I have no idea.
And if he does say Las Vegas, why does he say Las Vegas? Is it because he knows, or maybe he's got information that Dougie Jones is there, and he knows that he has to kill Dougie Jones because one of them must die? And that in order for him to continue existing as the dominant evil Cooper, he has to destroy the innocent version of himself, the real Cooper, the good Cooper.
But this is him saying Las Vegas, right?
Yes.
Right. So he's asking something that they have a pre-established context for.
Right, but it's the same message that Diane got.
Right.
But there's been this whole thing where there's been the same messages that Diane got that we see him sending, but in a lot of cases, I'm not sure if this is one of those cases, though, that it's typically one is in uppercase, one's in lowercase, so it kind of calls into question, are they really communicating, or are they just messing with our heads?
And maybe multiple people have interest in Las Vegas, because it seems to be converging on Las Vegas a little bit here. Now, we would know it was Diane if this little silhouette was smoking and drinking.
Yes.
All right, so it had that haircut.
Had an animated gift that said, F you.
Fuck you. So, all right, so he jumps in the car, and he actually gets Richard in the car,
Yeah,
too.
he says, we'll talk on the way there.
Yeah, and he drives off. I like that he bothers to drive through this part. I don't know, that's probably something I would do. And then the thing sort of smokes, and the lights are going, flickering and going, and it just gets more smoke, more billowing, and it kind of turns into this, and it starts to phase out, and it sort of disappears, right, into the trees, and there it goes. All right, so back to the plane from which it came, right?
Yep.
All right, great.
So it's not a place that someone can simply stumble on. That's why he needed the coordinates. I assume there was a particular time that it would appear there, or maybe it appeared for him there because he himself is an ethereal lodge entity.
Yeah. Okay.
It's unknown. Or maybe Phillip Jeffries willed it to appear there.
This tree right here does actually kind of shift around a little bit, basically.
Yeah.
The shot maybe it didn't move. I don't know, whatever. So, empty spot. It's not there anymore. Okay, so now we have an overhead shot of some trees again. I always like a good tree shot. This is actually really cool. They just showed a cool waterfall. I thought that was pretty neat. I like a nice waterfall, James. It's fun to throw stuff in it.
Yeah, and this scene kind of confused me a lot.
Okay, so we got some guy walking his dog. I love the dog. Is that a French bulldog?
I'm going to give you a chance to dig yourself out of the crap.
Oh, with some names and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not
You just called this guy some guy.
This guy here? I'm supposed to recognize this person?
Yes.
Well, that's not the guy with the giant hands.
No. Who created Twin Peaks?
Mark Frost.
That is Mark Frost.
That's Mark Frost?
That is Mark Frost.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. What do you think his dog's name is? Dave Frost.
Yes.
I like the dog. Dog is cute. Makes me want. I need to get a dog, James. I need something to love me. It's really getting.
I think your dog would get cancer, and you got to get a vet bill.
Knowing my luck, I would. I couldn't afford a dog right now, anyway. But obviously, we can. Yeah. So, if I got a dog, it would get hit by a meteorite.
I'll get you a log.
Someone would steal its kidney, probably.
You can be the log, Hank.
Get me a pine cone. Just to try. I'll cradle a pine cone.
Honk! My pine cone has a message for you.
James, James, my pinecone wants you to go to McDonald's with me.
Okay, this scene did confuse me.
Oh, do you want to go to McDonald's later? I feel like doing some stress eating.
Sure.
All right,
How
sweet.
could that go wrong?
It's a date. Okay, go. This scene is intense.
Is bullcrap, drug-addled, piece of crap, abusive husband to Becky, Steve, who was out hanging around with the Hayward sister.
The Hayward sister. And she, because when I first saw him, I was like, oh, it's supposed to be him and Becky. But then I quickly figured out that's not Becky.
Well, remember Becky was in a hysteria because she found out that he was seen with someone else. So she goes to the apartment,
shoots the door.
They're hiding in the stairwell, and they escape.
Yeah, they get out of there.
So it seems as though a lot has happened since we have last seen these unstable people.
Right. Somebody untied her boots.
Yeah, he's rubbing his leg like crazy. He's got a gun. He's hiding in the woods. He's erratic. And he's saying some pretty bizarre stuff. Did you capture any of that bizarre stuff?
Some of it, probably. I don't know.
What did she give you?
So he's on something.
But who is she?
Becky? Or Shelley? Maybe Shelley was taking out her daughter's horrible boyfriend with some poison pie?
No, I don't think so. I think
don't give it any serious consideration. I'm just coming up with bullshit.
Yeah, but it's someone. So that's one.
So you don't know who?
No, that's one unknown for me. I don't know who gave him some stuff, but he says something that makes me a little worried about who it might be.
Yeah.
So let's keep pushing on.
Okay. From a high school grade. So yeah, he's saying weird stuff to her, and then he loads the gun, puts some more bullets in the magazine. This is not a good situation.
No.
These guns and like maniacs don't mix well.
And the whole time I'm looking at her hand to see if she's wearing an owl ring, but no, she's not. Oh no,
yeah, this is actually just a mood ring, and her mood is terror.
Yes,
that's the color of terror, by the way. No, I don't know if it's a mood ring. Why am I getting into that? Yeah, so
I can't remember her name. Is it Gertrude Hayward?
Yeah, yes. My answer is yes. So then there's like, he kind of sees this tree. We do kind of, is this called a rack focus or whatever? Mm-hmm. And then so he's freaking out and acting all crazy, and he kind of starting to threaten that he's going to do something with the gun. He compliments her here. This is some real sweet talk going on, saying I like all the sex. We had a nice time, and I wanted to fuck you, and something about her. There we go. I like your cunt, and she starts to get crying. She starts, things are getting more intense, and this is a really heavy episode. This episode was like eating. One time, my dad and I went to a Polish all-you-can-eat buffet, and we both went home and we had horrible diarrhea for like 2 days.
Great. So correction, it's Gersten, not Gertrude.
Oh, you were close. That's pretty good. All right. So anyway, he's he's horny or whatever. I don't know if I want to. This is not a good sexual situation going on here. Oh boy, stop it, cunt! I didn't even see that one. And then the guy who comes up, Mark Frost, which everybody knows, and he sees him, and they don't see him right away, but then they look up and they spot him, and they go, "Oh shit, there's another person around here! Oh god, run!" And of course, I would be a little freaked out, but if I just saw two people canoodling by a tree, I'd be like, oh, they're probably trying to have public sex, or forest
or
sex,
they're just having a picnic or something.
Maybe they're camping and they're tired and they're just taking a break. But then you can kind of tell when people are twitching and acting all crazy, and especially when they try to immediately hide something because he tucks his gun away. I was worried for this guy though. I was like, oh no, don't start shooting.
Yeah.
That could happen.
I was worried for the dog.
Yeah, that too. But then she gets up and runs off to the other side of the tree.
Okay, so it seems as though you missed a line that I thought was kind of important.
All right.
Because he says something about, did you see the rhinoceros? And then he says something, I don't know if it was just the word or if he was saying something was, but he says turquoise.
Yeah, I got that line here.
Oh, you did? I missed it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he says turquoise.
Yeah.
And there's no way that means anything other unless it's a misdirection, but turquoise is an incredibly important color in the context of Twin Peaks.
Okay.
Because
the owl ring is turquoise?
Exactly.
I thought that was green. Oh, it's Formica is turquoise?
Yeah, the Formica table had an indentation cut out of it.
Yeah.
Green is its color, and I think they do refer to it as turquoise.
Okay. Not bad.
Which means that, did he interact with someone who was wearing the ring, or perhaps did someone give him the ring? Did he wear it, and did something happen to him? Did he meet a lodge entity? Did he meet Red? The weird magic man who was dealing drugs that has shady connections. We know he is on drugs, has shady connections. Maybe he did something to him. Maybe one of his associates gave him something. I don't know.
Good questions. I have no idea. Can we keep going here a little bit?
But it's too much for his little mind, and he kills himself.
Well, that's what we assume, right? So they don't show it happen, and then she gets the gunshot, and it jolts her a little bit, and she goes, "Oh God, no!" She starts rubbing her hair and rubbing her head and stuff, and just looking a little freaked out. So we assume he shoots himself while she's on the other side of the tree. She looks up at some trees here, and that's kind of neat. You know, I was like a good shot of the tops of the trees, and then
it's almost as though she's looking for his spirit going up, becoming part of the Ghostwood.
Well, I was actually kind of thinking maybe we'd see a vortex form or something at this point, just because that usually happens upwards in the sky.
I think it was going to be Steve jumping from branch to branch like a monkey.
Yeah, like a spider monkey just whipping around. I love those monkeys, man. It's amazing when they go up and down the trees so fast. It's like, wow, yeah. All right, so yeah, all right, so that's sad. And so now we have a suicide. This episode is fucking intense, man.
Yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster, and it only gets worse.
I know, and I'm in a horrible mood to start with. And James came home, and I was like, yeah, this didn't do me any good today. I'm fucking pissed off.
All right, so we recognize this scene, right?
Yes, this is the Fat Trout Park, right?
And what did we see happen at this very spot?
Well, that's where the cup got thrown out the window. Ray, no, not Ray. The nice guy that runs the place.
Carl Rod.
That guy right there with the shovel. This guy.
Well, this is where we saw the boys playing catch when we saw the poor beat-up woman that was nearly killed by Richard Horn crawling out of the woods.
Miriam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Miriam Sullivan.
Right. I knew that. I didn't know that. Okay, so what has that got to do with this scene, though?
I'm just saying that's where she crawls out right there. It's a callback to another location that we've seen before.
That's right there? Is where she crawled? Oh, all right. Well, man, maybe... Okay, haunted woods. All right, so then this dude basically reports like, "Hey, I just saw some people in the woods. They're looking, and so he knows who he's talking about. Lives in that trailer right over there, and he points to it. It's the one with the cardboard window. Always a good sign. It's a little junky. They got what are these limes, something? They got shovels. They got all kinds of crap.
He manufactures Sprite in his spare time.
Yeah, that's funny. So there it is, the new Fat Trout trailer. But we didn't see anything after that, so I assume in the next episode or soon
I'm assuming Carl Rod's going to go out and find him.
Yeah.
Because Carl Rod is sadly a lightning rod for tragedy.
Poor guy. Man, I relate to that. So, okay. Oh, a pine cone. All right, so then this guy, I love that they did, I don't know what's up with that. But they crank up a song here, and he says, all right, everybody... ZZ Top, Sharp Dressed Man.
Which is a ridiculous thing. This is your live performance or recording?
I know. It just cranks up the volume on this shitty-ass little sign. Do you think David Lynch is such a control freak that he made the sign himself?
I would not be the least bit surprised.
Give me that pen, Miguel Ferrero.
He probably did the guy's hair, too.
Yeah, he probably did. Put a pine cone on the end of the microphone thingy, etc. Yeah, okay, whatever. So yeah, they crank it up to way past into the zone, into the red zone.
11.
That's a lot like my my deodorant high endurance red zone. Spinal Tap reference. Everybody knows that 11 reference.
Not everybody.
Not everybody, that's for sure.
At least one person doesn't.
And you know at rock concerts how people drink wine and hold up their wine glass?
Oh, of course, yes.
So to a tape of ZZ Top and a poster that says volume. Although this is pretty fun. If someone did this at a place, I'd be like, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that.
And then dances erratically.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of entertaining. But the song, this little kind of we can still hear the ZZ Top playing, and these folks are having a nice time. Not Jimmy. James. Not Jimmy, right? They call him Jimmy?
Either way, yeah.
Anybody ever call you Jimmy?
Not that still live.
Would it be, oh boy, wow, jeez, careful there. I'm just picturing James tearing the skin off the palm of my hand. Like
I would bite your throat out like Sarah Palmer. Take my face off.
It's not like it's bad. All right, so anyway, James comes over. He's had a little bit of an interaction with one of these women there, right?
He's a moron, though.
Yeah.
He knows. Remember the conversation that they had with
the two women?
Is it not Charlie? What's it? Freddie, in the prior episode. He tells Freddie, he's like...
Freddie, the kid?
Yeah, Freddie's the kid with the glove.
With the glove.
So he basically says, we're going to go to the Roadhouse to see if Renee's there. And he says, Renee is married, right? And he goes, yeah, but whatever.
Yeah.
And Chuck is her husband.
Right. And Chuck knows that this guy's skeeving. He comes up and he goes, nice to see you or something. He says
you don't talk to a woman when her husband's sitting right there saying that you like her. I mean, come on.
Especially awkwardly from a distance. Like, he's kind of far away. And not that he's across the room, but he's just sort of like... The way they framed these shots... of course, the lady's like, oh, shit, now the men are going to fight, and this guy's, gets pissed off at him right away.
What do we know about Chuck?
I like her. I don't know.
Remember that story that Audrey was bouncing back and forth with Charlie? Where Charlie was basically saying that Tina was the last person to see Billy alive.
Yeah.
Or Billy not alive, but Billy period.
Uh-huh.
And that Chuck told him that Tina was the one to last see Billy. And that Chuck stole Billy's truck. This has got to be the Chuck.
Oh, okay. All right. That's probably him, yeah. So he's probably a ne'er-do-well.
Yeah. He's clearly a guy who is very easily irritated, but he did return the truck.
Plus, he's a bad boy, and you can tell because his wife is attractive.
Sure.
Attractive women like bad boys. It's true. Look it up. So Jimmy even likes bad girls. I don't know. But to me, why would he say this? He's so stupid.
Because he is a doofus.
And Chuck immediately gets up and knocks him to the ground and then starts beating him up. He actually breaks his beer right there. I wonder if that was a real glass. And so starts hitting him and starts just pounding away on poor old Jimmy. Stop it, Chuck. No, don't do that. And he's protecting himself like a boxer kind of a little bit. But the other guy gets in there too. And then Green Glove of Justice, the old Hulk Halloween costume.
Yep, because it hits like a pile driver.
Right. And he steps in to save him. And this is him just clocking the guy. And down he goes. And one punch, very short. Kind of got that Bruce Lee quick fist, that Uma Thurman
like the
punch.
1-inch punch.
Punching her way out of a coffin. I almost said volcano for some reason.
Actually, she does use the 1-inch punch for that.
Yeah, she goes... but he doesn't, he's actually restraining his strength.
Yes,
he
doesn't want to kill anyone.
Right, he's afraid he would hurt him. It would be kind of funny if he'd exploded their heads. But he really nails Chuck pretty bad, right? Chuck's knocked out, and they keep going like, first
and not
blood?
only, but it's like they're...
No blood?
Right, but they're foaming at the mouth, and their eyes are acting weird, and they're like convulsing. Yeah. It's almost as though there's some sort of electrical impulse or some sort of power to the glove that's more than just physical brute strength.
Mm-hmm. Renee softly whimpering. Yeah. He's the foaming at the mouth is never a good sign.
And he did say that the fireman told him that wearing this glove was going to connect his destiny to Twin Peaks. And we find out in the next couple screenshots that he does end up in a different part of Twin Peaks as a result of this interaction, and he's put into a situation that may in fact be the path of his destiny.
Yeah. Later on, a little bit later on.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, it's coming up. Okay, sure. All right, so yeah, they have this little confrontation here. All right. Vegas.
So we're in rural Kentucky now.
Yeah, this is rural Kentucky. This is where they make moonshine and the children of siblings. So these two we've seen before when Gordon Cole wanted to get in touch with Vegas to look them up. So we know they're looking for Janie E. and Dougie. And this guy comes in and says, hey, we got Janie E. and or Dougie, Mr. Douglas Jones and his wife Jane are here to see you. But the kids aren't too happy. And he hears them say kids. He goes, kids? Yeah. Kids?
So this guy's incompetent.
And the boss is a real dickhead. This guy's a real
But he was
asshole.
like, there's 23 Dougie Jones. How are we going to find the right one? It's what we do at the FBI.
Yeah. And then this was kind of funny. They just had this family with a bunch of children. Did you like the child screaming, James? I know you love the sound of children.
Yeah.
But it just made the whole scene way worse.
I love how they're all like ripped out of their bedroom in the middle of the night, all in their bathrobes and sleeping gear.
Do children really need bathrobes? That's a little overdoing it. What are you, fucking on Instagram? Get out of here. So anyway, he's pissed off and he's mad about, well, son! He wants to go yell at him and just, be a real piece of shit. So then we cut to...
Duncan Todd.
The
middleman who I egregiously messed up saying that he was the agent of Phillip Jeffries, when in reality, he was hired by Mr. C to take care of business.
Oh, okay. All right.
And this solidifies that to the point where I will fall upon that sword once again. I will...
You know what? It's okay to make a mistake every once in a while, James. You're allowed.
I just didn't think that Mr. C would have to hire a middleman to do his dirty work because he was very capable himself, but I guess he knows something that coming into direct contact with his own doppelganger might open a rift. It might put him at risk.
Yeah.
Something we don't know yet, but it seemed he had to have a reason for this.
Yes. And so this actually, I saw this kind of, I sensed it, not sensed it, like I have some super clairvoyance, but I pressed the print screen button a lot here, so we do have a lot of repeat shots. I caught myself holding it down, but all right, so I'm just warning people that we have a whole bunch of shots to get through for this little sequence, but it actually works out because I saw this, what's about to happen as soon as it was starting to happen, I kind of really nailed the print screen button down. That's what I'm saying. So my way of saying I didn't fall asleep. I don't want people to think I fell asleep again because that's a little bit insulting. So the door opens, the guy comes in, we'll find him. He's pissed off that they can't find.
They're looking for Anthony Sinclair, Tom Sizemore.
Yeah, Tom Sizemore.
Because if you recall, he had a contract out from Mr. C to kill Douglas Jones.
Right.
So he said that if you can't get the Mitchum brothers to kill them, you have to kill them. Because if you don't kill him, our neck is on the line.
Yes.
Right. And as we know, Anthony Sinclair does not kill Dougie Jones.
Yeah, yes, correct. And then so the shape comes in. It's obviously a person crossing in front of the camera. And this is what, like, I have just basically a ton of screenshots. The gun goes up, and we had a real weird special effect here, which is going to be fun to look at. So
it's basically a $4 CGI effect.
Camera pulls back, but yeah, it really jumped out at me as being silly. So we got that shot right there. But she blows him away. She just hits him right in the eye. Is there any significance to the location of the shot? Or
I don't.
All right,
you could read into anything, but I don't really think so.
Good. I'm glad you said no to that. 20 minutes later, oh Jesus, why did I? No. So then she turns and this guy's so stunned he doesn't know what's going on.
That's Roger.
And she shoots Roger. Look, there's another hole in his chest. Ah, Roger. Roger goes down real quick.
He immediately starts dancing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She shot him with dancing potion, and. Poor Roger. He's going to have to get that shirt dry cleaned. His parents are going to have get him a new jacket.
He might have lived if he had just kept quiet.
Right. No kidding. So she immediately gets on the phone and she's talking but she's like, okay, hold on. And she walks back casually. Silence gunshot takes him out. Because we hear Roger. This is Roger here.
All she cares is, she's completely cold and dead inside when it comes to murder, but all she wants is her junk food.
She likes to eat. And, that's her thing. That's her quirk. The junk food, and she's French fries with lots of ketchup. By the way, guys, sorry if there's a whining behind us. We have the window closed, but there's somebody who's operating machinery in our neighborhood here, and we can either wait later or just push on. Mm-hmm. So we're going to push on.
Or we could get Chantel to take care of it for us.
I would love it. Chantel, bring that guy some ketchup and kill him with diabetes. Ooh, I could go for some ketchup right now, James. All right, so now we got the zombie guy.
The guy who, like a doppelganger, only repeats the last thing he hears, and who is bleeding from the nose and mouth, more so from the mouth. But makes me speculate as though maybe this is Billy? I don't know.
Oh, this might be Billy?
But one thing makes me think it's not Billy, because we see that who comes into the jail cell? Chuck. And you would think that if that was Billy, Chuck would have said, hey, how's it going?
Wait, Chuck comes into the jail cell?
I thought Chuck came in afterwards.
I don't remember that part.
We definitely see Freddy go in, we definitely see James go in, but why would they arrest James and Freddy if... Actually, you're right. They
Depends
don't.
Sometimes the cops will just arrest the guy who's still standing.
They probably took the other guys to the hospital. Actually, I'm stupid. They do say it here. They say they're in intensive care.
Oh yeah.
That's why they didn't bring him into the jail cell.
There you go, right there. Drunk man.
I had forgotten that.
Drunk man mumbling.
So it goes back. That could still be Billy then.
Maybe, yeah. That doesn't rule out that it's Billy. Doesn't prove anything either. Of course, this is so sad. Anyway, James looks across the way and sees. Did we have her name? Did she have a name?
Naido?
Naido, I think somebody gave
yes.
What the fuck? This woman, she didn't commit any crimes. They found her naked in the woods she's blind. Well, it looks like she's got Band-Aids on her face now, but she had cuts. Hold on. You don't put a person in a fucking jail cell. In an emergency, if you need to get them a bed and they have to lay down, maybe at the very most. But you do not treat somebody who did not commit a crime by locking them in a cage, especially when they need medical treatment and they're blind.
No. They talked about this last episode explicitly. When Andy was bringing her back in, he said that she's fine physically, she'll be safe, she needs to be protected, there's bad people after who want to kill her, but she's important, we have to protect her. So he covered all that.
Okay, so let's put her in a jail cell with a bunch of other criminals running around in the same place.
You know a safer place?
Yes.
Guarded by cops 24/7?
One of the cops' house.
Where the cop is
maybe an interrogation room upstairs. Yeah, not in a jail cell.
Well, she can't see how
she's fucking blind, and she was found naked in the woods. You don't put she's a victim of some sort of crime, according to them, as far as they know.
Andy communed with the fireman. The fireman told him that she is fine physically.
I think
the fireman knows all. But anyway, someone did comment saying...
Look, prisoners are treated like shit in this country. You're not saying these guys are prisoners per se. They are in jail. But she's supposed to just shit and piss in front of a bunch of men? Come on. It's wrong. You don't put her in a jail cell. It's totally wrong. She's fucking blind.
Someone in the comments said, why do you guys keep saying she's blind? She clearly has eyes. I don't see them.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. She can't see.
Well, we don't know for a fact that she can't see.
Maybe she has other sensory inputs that she can somehow take in, like Daredevil or something.
Or maybe her eyes are just weird slits. Maybe she's from another dimension. She
could be anything. This poor woman we found in the woods. Oh yeah, let's put her with this guy. Let's put her in the same place with this fucking monster, screaming and yelling all day long.
This is the one thing you feel the most strongly about in this whole thing?
I'd say the most strongly, but I just think you should treat people who didn't commit a crime a little better than this. And you should treat people who committed crimes better, too. Wow. So I'm a fucking liberal. Norway's recidivism rate's 80%. Ours is like horrible, 40 or something, or 50.
Well, what's the population then?
Or recidivism rate, or whatever. Theirs is way better, is what I'm saying. But the population got to do with it. It's about how people are treated. The population has nothing to do with that.
Well, if you talk about rates and statistics, population has a heck of a lot to do with it.
No, it doesn't.
Absolutely does.
What are you talking about? That's insane.
No, it doesn't.
Recidivism is if 1,000 people go in, what percentage end up back in jail?
Well,
That has nothing to do with population.
Yes, it does. Conditions are completely related to overcrowding. You cannot deny that.
What are you talking about? Overcrowding means?
Bad prison conditions are mainly due, in fact, to low funding, poor funding as a result to overcrowding.
Right.
And it
but
goes hand in
Norway
hand.
being a smaller country than the United States doesn't mean that they can therefore have less. We don't have to have overcrowded prisons. Population has nothing to do with recidivism rate.
I think
You could take 10, it's because you have to compare the same number. You take 10 people in America, 10 people in Norway. In Norway, 80%, 8 out of 10 will not go back. In America, it'll be way higher.
Okay, you take 10 people in prison here and you find out that they don't have GED programs, they don't have work programs because there's no funding for it because they're so overcrowded and treated like crap. But in Norway, you take 10 people and you find out because that isn't so overcrowded and there isn't such a huge population with as much crime that they do have GED programs, they do have programs to help people find jobs. Therefore, the recidivism rate goes down because of the population.
But it's not, no, the recidivism rate goes down because they were treated better. They were rehabilitated, not punished.
Oh my God.
We're saying the same thing. We're saying the exact same thing.
We need to move on.
We're saying the same thing,
We need to move
I don't
on.
think there's a disagreement here at all. I agree. Treat them better. And it's even if you're not like, you have the bleeding heart that I have, you could also say, well, hey, it just works. It just works better to treat people with compassion than it does to treat them like they're like, send them to prison university.
Well, the next time we're saying the same thing, it might help not to say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Just say, we're saying the same thing.
Well, I didn't know what once I saw the details of your argument, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
The reason why they're better is because they're treated better. But the absolute numbers don't make a difference. Or I don't know if that makes any sense, what I just said there. But America being a larger country has nothing to do with whether or not another country has a smaller population and the recidivism rate.
I'm guessing there's going to be comments saying, shut up about this.
Oh, yeah, of course. I get it. I understand. It's just one of those, all right, fine. We'll keep going here. But she shouldn't be in with this fucking monster. All right, so this guy Chad can't handle it. Poor Chad.
Poor Chad.
See, the conditions in this prison are terrible. He's going to continue a life of crime. Maybe
this is too good for Chad.
No, that's why Norway has, because they would put him in a nice apartment is what they would do in Norway.
Well, Norway needs to learn how to treat pieces of crap.
Well, then the recidivism rate would be worse. What do you want? You want the outcome? Do you want the outcome or do you want the emotional satisfaction of hurting people?
Nothing is going to fix Chad.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
He's a 10 out of 10 in D-bags.
I'm all about the stats. I'm very rational, James.
Mm-hmm.
Fucker.
Yes.
Naido continues chattering oddly. This is such a strange one.
Singing like a bird in a cage.
Yeah, So anyway, I don't know what to make of all this prison stuff. So they put these guys in prison. The whole point is it was to show that they're in prison.
Well, this is the whole thing I was talking about, him fulfilling his destiny, coming into communion with this ethereal interdimensional being, and him being Freddy.
Him. Who's Freddy now?
Freddy, the guy with the glove.
Oh,
the guy with the strength. I believe that she needs protection. Bad people are trying to kill her. Yeah. Now she basically has a superhero like the next cell over. I can very much see someone coming in trying to hurt her, and he just ripping the bars off with his glove and saving her.
Because Freddy is a good guy. He seems to want to do the right thing. All right, very
I think destiny is protecting her.
Yeah, probably. I think you're probably right there. So Chantal's got her true love, food and snacks, and she and Tim Roth, the other Tim, are having a little conversation, and they're just sort of enjoying their time here, eating and pigging out. And she's upset that they don't have ketchup packets. She didn't like the ketchup packets. I don't know what they're talking about. You can maybe fill in the details if there's anything important.
Well, they're lamenting about the horrors of the world and how it's been on a downslope because all they really want to do is torture people, but their job has only allowed them to kill people.
Right.
And it's no fun to torture something that's already dead.
Yeah, these two people are very casually evil.
They are very horrible.
Weird. Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's the ketchup packet part that she complains about. But they seem to like each other. Yeah, she goes, I love you, Tim Roth. I mean, Tim Roth. And I love you, Chantal. And all right, great. They're
Hutch.
Yeah, Hutch and Chantal. So they work for Mr. C.
Yes, they do.
Dougie's house. Janie E. What a nice wife.
And the E obviously stands for, that we were corrected in the comments before. Was it Evans?
Evans, yes. Diane's last name is Evans.
All right.
Right. So she brings him a piece of cake.
Looks like chocolate cake.
Looks like chocolate cake. We've seen him enjoy those before.
Actually, it's more like a cream cake.
Is He's kind of dressed like an FBI agent.
Yes, which is why I thought this scene was going to be where he comes back.
Stuff started to happen in this scene.
That's what I'm getting
He's
at.
not really wearing. I mean, take the jacket off. You know, you're at home. You're gonna have a piece of cake, man. You don't need to be all dressed up.
I think it's important for what's about to happen.
Okay, all right. So he immediately gets into it. I mean, she even kisses him and is like, "Things are finally getting great here, honey," or something like that.
Because the Mitchum brothers gave him a fancy car.
Yeah. Even though he's a modified, barely there guy.
Yeah.
You think she'd be a little worried about the fact that the companionship is gone. But this stood out to me.
Yeah, he doesn't really do things like this.
He's not a fidgeter.
No.
Nothing draws his attention. I mean, things only draws attention if they sort of tap something in him.
Yeah.
But he sort of reaches in. All he does is move it over. It's
And
a
I
salt
don't know
and
if
pepper
there's
shaker,
like some
I think.
sort of subtle nuance to this. There's something in his past that connects to that shape or that object or something. The fact that it's an egg.
Yeah.
Egg-like object. I don't know.
It's egg.
It's
egg.
unusual.
It's egg adjacent.
Yeah, it's unusual for him to do that.
Yeah, totally. But he's taking some bites, sort of classic. But then he starts pushing buttons. Like this is also unusual behavior.
It is. Yeah.
But he does it between bites. I wonder how much Kyle MacLachlan ate. I know he's eating a lot of pie.
Yeah, it's almost as though like repetition through his life, he's learned these things because these are common things that are done for him by Janie E.
Maybe
perhaps.
that's it. Yeah, that could be. He's slowly kind of being trained.
Mm-hmm.
But the TV goes on, and then he spots something. He sees or he hears something, really.
Yes, he
and,
does.
I am sure there's significance. Is this Cecil B. DeMille or something? Is that the guy? I don't know.
I assume that's who he's referring to. This could be
very ignorant.
Is this Sunset Boulevard?
I don't know.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille.
I'm horrible at.
I'm not. I don't know a lot about older
I barely
movies.
know what happened 20 minutes ago. I can't tell you much about old movies like this. So tell him to forget about our car. So, but he immediately gets like completely sucked in because he hears someone say Gordon Cole. I was wondering if maybe this guy behind there is important or not. I doubt it. No.
But you're right. It's the name Gordon Cole that sets a fire in his mind.
Damn, I don't have a screenshot of it. But anyway, yeah, somebody on here says like, "Oh, check out Gordon Cole."
Yeah.
And so then we get this response. He's like, "Oh, whoa." So this is as tuned in as Dougie's been in a long time. That fucking machine is back. God, some guy has
a leaf blower or something.
I think it's a guy has a woodworking shop, and because I'll hear hammering and stuff, so I think he's sanding something. What a fucking annoying. All right, so okay, now he starts. Spots the light switch, or light socket, which we know has a lot of significance. And I like this camera shot too. The way he kind of like leans in and he's holding the fork and he just sort of climbs forward. He's really compelled to approach this thing. He struggles at first with the fork tines, trying to get him in the holes.
That he's so childish, and it's the one thing you want to protect a child from doing, the most cliche thing a child can do. But if you remember, he emerged from an electrical outlet and left his shoes behind, right?
Right.
When he extruded through that, he left a piece of himself elsewhere.
Right.
So now I guess the theory is that if he connects with it, maybe he'll blow his shoes off again, but maybe he'll recapture that part of himself that's missing. That electrical jolt. Maybe this is the return of Cooper that we've been waiting for so long.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for. I really want to see this real Cooper come back, man. But he flips the fork around and gets it in there, and it sparks right away, and he goes, and we get some white, no, electrical, and then the whole house like gets bright, and
look at that owl's eyes light up.
Yeah,
they get all big.
That's funny. There's the cake. There's the green apples from before, the KitchenAid mixer.
Looks more like a set than it ever did.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's
it. Could be a real kitchen though.
I'm feeling like this is a real kitchen. It looks pretty good. Yeah. So then the lights go back. They go off. Sonny Jim screams too. He's like, "Oh, Mom, what was that, Mom?" But so we don't know what happened there.
Right.
And do you think it got sucked in?
No, I think possibly a portion of his consciousness was transferred back into him via the electricity.
Oh, it came out through it.
I still think there's something to it.
Maybe a pair of shoes.
Well, probably maybe his shoes got blown off, or maybe his shoes got blown back on. I don't know, but it could be that if he does return himself, mostly, will he be a version of Cooper that's cognitive, that is intelligent, but also missing his entire dark half?
Could be. Yeah. Who knows? I don't. Yeah. I'm looking forward to them sorting out this whole Cooper stuff. Okay, so ready to keep going?
Yep.
All right, so then...
I was surprised to see her again.
Yeah, she's calling, and Hawk answers the phone. She always calls him, and they talk, and she immediately just goes into, hey, I'm dying. And she's actually literally dying. Like, this actress is dying, right?
Well, she's dead now.
We know that.
She was dying.
She knew she was diagnosed terminal when they filmed it.
The condition that we see her in here is not an act.
Right. So
it's incredibly sad from the character's perspective and from knowing that the actor, I don't know, PC thing, but that she's going through it too.
Yeah, I mean that's what's so compelling about this is that she's kind of reassuring him that it's not so scary. It's just an end, and she actually says there's a little fear, right?
I mean, he's not. That's an important thing. He's not reassuring her. He's not saying anything to her.
Well, you notice, right? He's listening, and he's letting her.
You kind of get why.
But so he puts the phone's not there anymore. She's just talking.
But I think the reason for that is that they had to shoot her scenes quickly, so they couldn't really have a dialogue between the two of them.
Right.
So I think it's really just the hello, Margaret, goodbye, Margaret.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I totally get that. But why is she not holding the phone now? Did she put him on speaker?
Maybe it's.
What if he said, "Could you take me off speaker?"
It could just.
It's really annoying.
It could be an homage to her fireside chats in the beginning of the episodes when it aired in the different network, where she was just giving her monologue, where she was saying something important,
right? And
the weight of her words were so critical that you didn't really need a phone there to communicate it. They spoke for themselves. So
fair enough. Yeah, I like that. But she's. This is sad though. Like this episode was not.
Yeah, this one was this is the part that it was a little bit hard for me.
Did you get a little teary-eyed?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Did one get out, or did it just tear up and collect, and you kind of wiped it?
No, it froze to my face, and it will remain there.
Turned into a crystal.
Yes.
Tumbled down, and then you stepped on it and went, ow.
So she just said a very important line.
All right, go ahead.
Go back 2.
Right there.
Go back 1.
I think I might have missed.
Or go forward.
Forward.
She basically says, watch out for that one, the one I told you about, under the moon on Blue Pine Mountain or something like that.
That's right. I missed the under the moon's line. What does that mean?
That, to Hawk, that means something very important. Do you remember when Hawk pulled out the living map that was in his family?
Yep.
And he showed the picture of the 2 peaks and the moon above? What was right below the moon?
A flame?
It was that black circle with the bunny ears coming off of it.
The Donnie Darko symbol.
Yeah, the same thing that when Hawk was speaking of it, he said, you don't ever want to know about that. He won't even talk about it. It's the same modified version of what shows up on the owl ring. It's the same drawing that was on the playing card that Mr. C had that he said, this is what I'm after.
Okay.
And it also resembles the experiment, or the mother, her face. She has these little tiny antenna things coming off of her head.
All right.
And she's got a very dark... Well, no, she's white, but she has a very shadowy appearance.
Yeah.
So all we know is it's something very malevolent. It's something that is not of this world, that is not good whatsoever. Hawk knows what it is, but he won't even tell us.
Okay.
And Mr. C wants it for whatever reason.
So she's warning him about that.
Yes.
She's dialed into that a little bit. Now, my log is turning gold. Is that a reference to the gold, how the spirit becomes the gold ball?
I think so. I think you're dead on the money there, because there's some references in mythology and whatnot that gold is sort of like a conduit between 2 dimensions. It's things turning gold is an ascension type deal.
Yeah.
And the log turning gold is almost as though it's ascending with her. It is passing to the new dimension to be with her because it was her husband.
Right. Okay. Wow. And then she says, I'm dying, and good night, Hawk. And I mean, this is her saying goodbye to Hawk, but goodbye to the listener or the viewers, goodbye to David. Everybody, this is her departure, and it's really her dying, which is also fucking crazy. But it was, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be in your final months. I'm sure it comes with a lot of variable emotions and stuff, and hopefully people find some peace in their last few months if they're lucky enough to have last few months where they're not completely out of it or whatever.
Yeah, and the extra sad icing on the sad cake is when what Hawk says next. He just says, good night, Margaret.
Yeah.
And then they hang up, and then he clarifies it with goodbye, Margaret.
Goodbye, Margaret. See you later. I edited the see you later part there, James.
It makes me wonder, though.
What?
Was she still alive during that call?
What do you mean during the call?
Was that a spiritual call or something, though? Was that... When she put the phone down, was she communing with him through some sort of mythical means or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Because later on...
in the show, I think she was still alive.
Well, later on, he says something that makes me a little question. I mean, it could be a time jump.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it in the next, 5 shots.
Yeah, okay, we'll get to that. But, Hawk sits there, and he's obviously cares for her and known her a long time. I'm sure he's not feeling great.
Yeah, there's another thing that bugs me every time I watch the show.
Yeah. So Sheriff Truman is in here alone looking at porn.
Yeah, I don't have it on me, so I won't
comes in. They all come in. He doesn't seem to expect them, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Hawk or somebody on the intercom wanted us in here." So Hawk emerges, says, he informs them that she died, and this is sort of a sad moment for everybody.
But he said that she died tonight.
Yes, but like, so how did he confirm that she's dead? She's died.
I know. I mean, would he have time to go over there and check on her, and it just so happens that she died at that moment? Or was it that when she put the phone down, that was symbolic of her passing,
right?
And that he didn't respond to her because she wasn't saying anything more?
Like in the real world, if you call a cop, and even if you're friend, especially if you're friends, probably, but if you call a police station, and you're like, "Hey, goodbye, I'm dying," they're gonna come over.
Yeah,
they should.
But I don't think. I mean,
I'm not saying he did anything wrong here. I think in the way the story is being told, it was her departure was certain.
Yeah.
And it didn't. You know what I mean? But like, you'd probably want to go make sure she's dead, or no, make sure she's alive, I guess.
But this scene was not just an emotional send-off for the log lady, but it was an emotional send-off for the woman who played her.
Well, yeah, that's the whole.
And this is the cast's way of saying goodbye,
right?
And it's tough to watch.
This is like in theater, like if somebody in the cast dies in a play, they'll like interrupt the. I mean, not dies during the play, you know what I mean? But they'll come out and they'll be themselves on stage for a moment.
Yeah, and she was so important to the show too.
Yeah,
she was pivotal.
Yep. So yeah, it's horrible.
And I don't know why Sheriff Truman was just looking at a fish the whole time.
That's his porn.
You said the fish was the porn?
Yeah, that's
I knew you said he was looking at porn, but I didn't know that's what you meant.
It doesn't have to be nude people, James. It can be nude fish too.
Okay.
All right, come on, be open-minded. But it's sad. It's following up on
allgills.com.
Gills. barely legal, but they have to be like a certain length or something, 70. Okay, all right, whatever. All right, so she's dead, and it turns dark, and it's really sad, and everybody's sad about that. All right, well,
actually, wait a minute. I think you missed a really, really important shot.
All right, I'm sure I did. What did I miss?
These black shots that you're seeing, I think there was
woods in them, and they'll be these will be brightened up in Premiere, so we're looking at a darker screen.
Okay, I don't know if maybe...
this is the house, and the light goes... the light goes dim.
That's the log lady's cabin, and the light going out symbolizes that the light that stood against the darkness is now gone.
Yeah, that's her flame is extinguished forever.
It's a great send-off for her.
Yeah, I just didn't get a shot of the light on there. I do remember that light going off. So there you go. Death and, absence. It's all tragic. And
another mystery solved too. Charlie has legs.
You know what's funny? Like
he's taller than I expected.
I was going to say exactly that. I was picturing him as being a shorter guy, and he's up there a little bit. Still an oddly built man. Something going on with him, but he's all right. I'm not that I would care if he wasn't properly built, or you know what I mean. I don't give a shit.
But this scene did not do any favors for the anti-coma theories. I don't want her to be in a coma. I really, really don't.
The anti-coma. So, do you think this supports the coma theory?
I do, because she is standing up. She wants to go to the roadhouse. Finally, Charlie is standing up. He has got his coat on. He is ready to go to the roadhouse, and he's saying over and over, "I have my coat on. You wanted to go, let's go." But she won't let him go. She keeps changing the topic, changing the subject, and preventing him from going.
Because his attitude is like, "I'm tired, but let's do it."
Her mind is her own prison. She wants to go, but she won't let herself go because she can't go.
Okay. So we think that this supports the coma thing then? That she's stuck in the house at least.
It supports the theory, but I really hope there's another explanation, because I don't think it's as interesting a twist as it would be otherwise. I don't like it so much.
It wasn't a fun scene to watch. It was just like watching a couple that doesn't love each other fight. It was just like, this sucks.
And she's still looking for Billy because she likes Billy better.
I want to point out this line. You're such a whiner. It's like being with a sick dog. I don't know. Do sick dogs whine? I mean,
in pain.
They go,
yeah.
But it's not you don't go like, "Oh, shut up, you fucking sick dog."
Well, she's been stuck in her own head for 25 years.
Sick
allegedly.
Dogs, when a dog is sick, you care about it because they're innocent. And you don't treat a sick dog like shit. Only horrible people do.
She's a rich girl.
Well, that's true. All right. So, or talk to me. Yeah. So he's just frustrated.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna put on your jacket, or you're gonna talk to me to death right here."
Yeah.
You like Billy better, but I'm Charlie and he is Billy.
Mm-hmm. And she likes Billy better, so she wants this Billy. We don't know who Billy is, though, right?
Nope.
All right. So he's sort of...
All we do is we know that there is a person out there named Billy. We know there's a person out there named Tina. We know there's a person out there named Chuck. Mm-hmm. We know that these names do reflect on real people. So...
Right.
But why has no one mentioned Audrey?
I have no idea. So he's frustrated. In one fucking second, I'll take my coat off. And they start swearing, and it starts to get intense. And finally, he's just like, "All right, Coat's coming off. That's it. You really crossed the line. I'm going to take some drastic action here and undress myself. So she's like, oh, we're like, all right.
I'm going to get back into my egg carton, Audrey, with my 11 brothers.
I'm gonna get into my teacup and fly away. But no, she gets back. He gets down on his chair and she immediately attacks him. She's fed up. She just charges him, starts fighting him and choking him. And
but I think she's just taking her frustration out on herself.
Yeah. Right, like externalizing the cause of her pain.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
it can't be her fault that she's stuck in there. It has to be someone else's. So even when
Right.
they acquiesce to her request, she has to prevent it.
But if this is inside her own mind, that he is part of her mind too,
Right.
I guess, I don't know.
But it all makes too much sense to not be the case. But still, despite that, I want that not to be the case. I do not want the coma theory to be the theory.
Why?
Because I just don't find it to be that interesting.
What other theory could it be then? Or I mean, what's an alternative explanation? Not that I'm trying to corner you.
The unknown, not knowing. That's
you
what
just don't know.
I prefer ambiguity to anything else because that's the magic of Lynch. Not because
That is the most Lynch fan sentence
well, if
ever
you think
said.
about it though, it's sort of like at the
The
end,
magic of Lynch is not understanding.
when this whole thing is over, people who love it are going to love it because they have a unique version of it in their mind that only they will relate to because it's the version they conform to their ideologies. It's what they felt.
Right.
It's what they experienced. And it's going to be different for everyone.
Sure.
And I think that's a special thing. You don't get that a lot in shows.
That's why the Bible's so successful. You can interpret it in whatever the hell way you want that fits your needs and the way you were raised and the way your culture insists that you behave.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the Bible does it. It spawns denominations that are different from each other and have substantial differences from each other too.
So we're going to Trump now?
That's not an untrue or unkind statement about the Bible. That's just the way. No one. You can't. Yeah, I'm not saying you're saying this, but like, I'm not insulting the Bible. I could insult the Bible if you want me to. I do all the time.
You got like 12 screenshots left.
I know. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying the Bible has a lot of vagaries that lends themselves to different denominations, each one of which is very certain of its own views, but there's broadly variable interpretations. That's all I'm saying. A little specificity would do the world a little fucking favor, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so Bang Bang Bar. Oh, good. We got another song. Generic crowd rocking it out. Some guy screaming about obsidian or something, and now I didn't understand what the hell's going on with this whole sequence. Do you know who this girl is here?
No, I did not know who this girl was.
Okay, so these biker guys come up, and I thought they were gonna do some weird sexual shit.
I know her name's Ruby.
Oh, you do? All right,
Yep.
Cool. So Ruby she just says she's waiting for someone. She seems a little, obviously they could, overpower her if they wanted, and they do that, but luckily all they wanted was the table. I thought they were going to like drag her off or something. It was going to be horrible.
Is this some like a social commentary on the weak versus the strong, the powerless versus the powerful?
Assholes versus regular people?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I suppose everything's kind of that, isn't it? But she doesn't seem to like care right away.
Or those who have power leave you alone and isolated and shoved down below the masses? Is it something as simple as that, or is it something more?
I don't know. I think David Lynch is like doing 12 puzzles in his head at once, and some of the pieces are empty, and you get to fill them in yourself.
What should we have her say? Just have her crawl on the floor.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't think he puts as much thought into his ideas as his fans do. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a controversial statement or not, but that's the way I see it. Which is because I'm a fan of his, I'm allowed to.
Or could it be symbolic of her going into the mystique of the ghost woods, the legs being the trunks of the trees, her crawling through towards the lodge?
That's literally it,
The 12 sycamore trees standing betwixt a pool of motor oil.
Yeah, I mean, she's isolated, she's alone, she's lower than everybody, but they're having a good time, and she's crawling forward. Seems to sort of start to show some emotions here, and then she starts screaming, screeching, screaming, just really bad.
Or is it possible that she's releasing the emotion of being possibly stood up by someone? Well, maybe she's been there for a while, maybe those jerks have been watching her, and saw finally no one's coming to sit with you, so we're going to take the table.
How about someone stole her airbag, and she hasn't even made the first payment on her fucking car yet? $500, man. I wish somebody mugged me for $100.
Oh, I can do that.
All right, do it. I don't have $100. So I have about 20 something in my wallet. Honestly, I don't want to get mugged because there's a weapon. It's scary, but like fucking $500.
I would just hit you over the head with a mug.
That
Then
would
you
do
say
me
you
a
got
favor.
luck.
Wake me up when it gets better. All right, so then, bam, that's the end, starring our favorite buddy, Kyle Mac and Cheese MacLachlan. Anything to figure out in here?
All right, let's go through it.
Who's
so
the drunk?
maybe it's the guy with the blood pooling out of his mouth in the jail cell.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Roger, we know who Roger is. Roger's now dead because he couldn't keep his mouth shut. Shelley Briggs, we know. Bobby.
Oh, you do all of them?
Did we see Bobby Briggs? I think we did. Yeah, he was in the conference room, perhaps. Or maybe he was leading the prisoners down into the jail cells.
Yeah, he was in the jail
Didn't
cells.
have any speaking lines, but let's see. Anyone else? Agent Wilson, we know him.
Nathan Frizzle, the voice of Phillip Jeffries.
Yes.
Played by David Bowie.
Yep.
So we see. Wait, Mark Frost is played by someone named Cyril Pont. Well, that's the name of the character.
Oh my god.
I got it switched. My brain is mostly faulty. Yeah, Deputy Andy. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong button there. Yeah. So okay.
I love how Laura Palmer gets credit every single time, even though she's just a superimposed face in the beginning.
Yeah, she's just the opacity effect at the beginning. Carl Rod. All right, very good.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything here that reveals much. Bosomy Woman, Carl Rod, MC.
Bosomy Woman.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember that. I guess I'll have to Google it.
Jamie Jones, Kirsten Hayward, Ruby, who that's how I knew her name.
Okay. Naido, played by another word I don't know how to say. Naiyuki. I took Japanese for 1 week in college. My dad talked me out of it. He goes, "You're not going to know it after one semester. You're going to take like a bunch of semesters. So you're going to take a bunch of semesters." I was like, "No." He goes, "Then why are you doing one semester?" I was like, yeah, good point, Dad.
When I was in high school, I signed up to take Latin classes, not knowing that the Latin class didn't have a teacher. It was just basically a satellite, learn by satellite thing. And they had two TVs side by side. One was Latin, one was Japanese. And I could never hear the Latin thing because the Japanese was going too loud. And when I finally asked them to take it out of the room so we could, actually hear it, they were teaching a lesson and they kept saying, hamburger! Hamburger! And I was that's awesome.
That's the first Japanese word ever invented was hamburger.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But also, I should mention here, great. Oh, go back.
Oh, you want to go back?
In memory of Margaret Lanterman.
All right.
Obviously that's the character's name, but they memorialized her as the character, not just the person.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is not the actress's name.
Right.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right.
She was the lantern in the dark.
The lantern. So the lantern has been extinguished. But now you told me in an email, James will send me some email notes sometimes and say, "Hey, look for this part." You said there's a screenshot at the end here. Now, this is that hotel,
it's
right?
a creepy thing with a woman, like a shot from frickin' PT.
Oh, yeah.
PT
Oh, my God, I didn't
teaser.
even notice.
She's just standing back there in that creepy white dress.
Dude, what the fuck? I didn't notice that. Let me back up, though, because it's... Where does it switch? Does it pan over or something? Yeah, that's weird.
Yep. It's a thing of nightmares right there.
Good thing she's not like twitching around real fast.
She's just waiting for someone to need to go through that door.
Yeah. Wow, that's nuts. Okay, that's just bizarre and weird. All right.
That kind of sums up the whole episode.
Totally expected. So you enjoyed this episode?
I did, but I am really, really, really looking forward to hearing what people have to say about it because there's certain things that I just don't feel like my interpretation or my take on it is the right one. I don't feel solid on this one. I want to know what other people say.
All right, let's hear what people say in the comments. Yeah, cool. I want to see Cooper come back. That's the main thing I'm hoping to see. I want to see what happened with that electrical socket.
I'm convinced that we're going to get more Cooper next episode. If the next episode has no Cooper in it whatsoever, that's going to be a major slap in the face.
Right.
With a green glove.
Well, there's how many more episodes now? 3 more?
This
is 15. 16,
not
17,
think about
18?
It's never going to end.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's always going to,
It's all right. You did get a lot out of it. I mean, 18 episodes is quite a bit for one season.
More.
One season. I think I got some of that recidivism rate. I was confusing the 80 and the 50 in the numbers, but I got them switched. But my doesn't change what I was saying. But I just point out that I realized I was probably confusing the numbers a little bit there. And then I said I'm good at the stats, which I'm not. But I'm good at being right. And you were right too. We were right. We were both right. We were both right. We came at it from a different angle. That's all. All right. Huh?
I came at it from a right angle.
Yes, and I came at it from an obtuse angle.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
You're an isosceles triangle, James.
That was a very acute thing to say.
Well done. I'll give you $90. Just kidding. I don't have that much money.
It does feel like it's 90 degrees in here.
It is warm. It is warm.
And the air conditioner's on. Your room is broken.
It's because you and I are such husky, manly men that we just emit this powerful, irresistible heat. Okay, why am I rambling? Thanks for finding the show, everybody. Anything else you want to add?
No, not really.
Cool. That was our Twin Peaks review, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for putting up with me. thanks for, show James a little love on Twitter or in the comments. Tell him how much you appreciate all the hard work he puts in. And
My favorite thing about the show is the comment section after it's posted.
Yeah.
I learn so much.
You do learn a lot. There's a lot to learn. That's the thing about the whole oh, you don't know everything. It's like, yeah, how could you know everything? How could anybody know everything? It's crazy.
It's kind of exciting to watch something and say, oh shoot, they didn't notice this. This is interesting. I know it. Let me share it. And that's what I love about this.
Yeah, it should be like mutual discovery. Like we're all doing a puzzle together. That's the kind of vibe we want in the comments, not the, hey motherfucker, you stupid idiot, how dare you get it. It's like, all right, just Jesus, we're working on a puzzle here. We're doing this together. Yeah. Or we're getting to the end, and thanks for finding our channel, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being there with me, James, and sorry for being kind of angry tonight and stressed out. But this show did not help my mood at all. This was hard. This was a hard one to watch.
You want to watch Mulan?
Moulin Rouge?
Mulan, the Disney animated princess movie.
Isn't that Mulan? Oh no, Moulin Rouge is a
totally different movie.
Yeah, I want to watch both.
Okay.
Let's do it. Bye.